Hello everybody and welcome back to another Triple Ground Wargaming deep dive in the Triple Ground Wargaming studio.
With, as opposed to the ones in the streets.
Well, some of them have been, you know, we had to reshoot those though. But today you join me, the Oracle, him, the Loremaster.
How you doing, everyone?
And this man, the Chieftain.
I'm actually lost for words at this point. I don't know what's going on.
People cannot, they just can't fathom
Comedy.
such an intro. But today, as discussed, you join us for a deep dive, and today is none other than my favourite army in the old world, the Tomb Kings of Khemri.
Ooh, spooky skeletons.
Spooky skeletons, indeed.
Okay.
Now, obviously, in standard format, we will go through the Grand Army composition. We will then take a look at the
Special rules.
Yeah. And then from there,
Units, magic items.
general army list, magic items, magic lore.
Yeah. It's not what we talked about 5 minutes ago.
I don't really see what I've done wrong here. I think you just said what we're going through. I don't really know what's the problem.
Let's just put it this way. There's more to go over in this one than there was in the last deep dive, which was Empire.
But it might have been the last one. It might be the one before this. Yeah.
No, it was the last one.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
there you go.
Well, there you go.
Order you've watched them in, doesn't it?
If you watch in order, there you go.
You're watching the chronological deep dives. you're not
To
missing
get the
much
full
with the Empire.
backstory.
Full backstory. But yes, we're going to go through the Tomb Kings today. So without further ado, without these two clowns aside me, we will get this road on the show. And let's start with let's start with characters.
It's a Grand Army list composition. That's
Yeah.
what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So, in characters, up to 50% standard, you have to have at least one Tomb King or Tomb Prince. You also have to have at least one High Priest or Mortuary Priest. That's your level 4s or your level 2s. You can have 0 to 1 additional Tomb Kings or High Priest per 1,000 points. And you can have Royal Heralds and Necrotect in any combination, any number.
I don't get the idea that you limited the level. Oh no, it's High Priest. Okay, so you have to have one High Priest, but you can only have one High Priest per 1,000 points. 0 to 1 High Priest. Is that additional or is that? Is that additional High Priest or is that just you can only have that one High Priest?
I think it's 0 to 1. I think you can have a Tomb King or a High Priest per 1,000 points. And I think you have, but then if you have to have...
But you have to have a Tomb King and a High Priest.
No, you have to have a Tomb King or a Tomb Prince.
Oh, sorry, no, yes,
So,
sorry. Apologies.
Yeah,
it's not an addition. It's just very strangely worded. You have to have at least one Tomb King or High Priest per 1,000 points. And then whichever one you've gone with a bigger version of, i.e. Tomb King or High Priest.
You don't. You just have to have one Tomb King or Tomb Prince, like we said,
Yeah.
or one High Priest or Mortuary Priest. So I could just have a Tomb Prince and Mortuary Priest. I don't have to have the Big Daddy ones. If I don't want it.
Oh no, of course you don't.
Yeah.
It's 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 0 to 1 is just telling me the limits of how many I can have. But basically, if you're playing 2,000 points plus, which is most games, you'll have one of each, I imagine.
Yeah, Tomb King and a High Priest.
What's
they're
that
both very
point?
I don't know. Tomb Kings, they seem decent. They can go on dragons, which is decent, really. These days.
Yeah, well, anything that can go on a big monster is strong.
Yeah.
They
And
can.
that's the High Priest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think the High Priest is the
why
better.
not both?
I think the High Priest is the better option on the dragon now.
I think it's a one or both for me.
I like Necrotect as well. We'll get into Necrotect.
You can have as many Royal Heralds and Necrotects as you like.
Yeah.
That's your characters, basically.
Yeah.
Core.
Yeah.
Gotta have one unit of Skeleton Warriors or Skeleton Archers or Skeleton Skirmishers or Tomb Swarms.
No,
Sorry, no,
it's not.
apologies. I just can't read. Skeleton Warriors or
And
Skeleton
John for not
Archers.
being able to read.
One
I
plus.
think like I was that bad. But yeah. Carry on.
Genuinely upset. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably Archers almost all the time.
It's always Archers.
It's always
Archers.
Archers.
Is rubbish. They're trash.
Yeah, they are great.
I mean, they're good.
The Nehekhara phalanx is okay
Yeah,
if you're
it's
not outnumbered, but the problem is that they have got 6 up armor, like 5 up armor save, toughness 3.
And the regen.
They're always outnumbered.
If you take like a
Always
unit of
outnumbered.
30, they can hold a unit for a turn.
For a turn,
For
maybe
one
2
turn,
on a push.
you can drop the Nehekhara phalanx for 1 turn.
Yeah.
And that it's just this it ain't worth it. It's very 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 situational. The situation being your opponent has a subpar list.
And you can take one unit Tomb Guard in core, which is decent.
That's very good.
That's very good.
Or Sepulchral Stalkers, which I think are okay.
They got better in this book.
I played them I played them last weekend, and they seemed trash.
Oh, okay.
They seemed pretty poor. And all the ones you can take the majority of, like the skirmishers, swarms, horsemen, horse archers, and skeleton chariots. Yeah, the horse archers probably still when we stick kicking
Horse
around.
archers, you're still going to see a lot of. Skeletal chariots, they're not terrible.
They're not terrible. They just don't do damage.
They're just not great. Yeah.
We'll get to all that though, won't we?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Special up to 50% may be spent on Tomb Guard, Ushapti, Sepulchral Stalkers, Carrion, or Necropolis Knights in any
shape or fashion.
In any shape or fashion, yes. Up to 0 to 3 Tomb Scorpions per 1,000 points, which means that you can take 6 in 2,000 points.
Why do people take 6?
Because
you roll for
because
it.
everywhere
Yeah,
rolls for 3.
yeah.
That's why. Because if you could, you would take 6. They're incredible. 0 to 2 Khemrian War Sphinxes, not counting mounts per 1,000 points. It's nice they don't count the mounts, but I mean, you're never going to see a list that's got more than a mounted one. To be honest,
Yeah, they've lost a bit, and
they lost a bit of sauce. So.
Tomb Scorpions are the real heroes here, which we'll get onto later on. They are the absolute hero of this army.
The mustard, you could say.
And
I absolutely would say.
Are you a mustard expert?
Yes.
25% on rare. That's your Necrolyph Colossus, your Necrosphinxes, which you will see.
Yeah.
0 to 2 Screaming Skulls per 1,000 points, and 0 to 1 Casket per 1,000 points.
You won't see Scream Skulls much these days, unfortunately.
Caskets not too sad,
mate.
Caskets, they're alright.
I think other than giving you the I don't. We'll get into
You
that.
used a few.
We'll get into it.
Up to 20%
Mercs
on
20%,
mercenaries.
Allies 25%, any Tomb King of Army of Infamy, obviously the Mortuary Cult or the
Royal Host.
Royal Host, that's the one, thank you. Orcs and Goblins, Warriors of Chaos and Beastmen Brayherds can all be taken as allies, but they are all suspicious.
It's very odd to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they should be allies.
Especially the Orcs and Goblins, in a lot of the fluff, especially they look to the page next to this page, there's an orc getting his head caved in.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the Tomb Kings aren't baddies. But
I'd argue that they shouldn't be able to ally with anyone.
No, I agree. But I don't see them
or
as
you have them
baddies.
allying with everybody
Fluff-wise.
because fluff-wise they're
just
dogs of war.
Anyway, it's not the most restrictive army list in the world.
It's not. It's actually
No, it's
pretty good. You get the 1+ of skeletal archers, but they're cheap as chips. You can take a little unit and like 70 points for 10, I think.
And you've got to fill your core.
Or it's not even that,
now, mate. I think they're only 5 points each.
We'll get to them in a second. But yeah, you're looking to fill up your core so you can get the special, take some Tomb Scorpions.
Yeah.
And Necrosphinxes.
A single Royal Held in your army may be upgraded to the Battle Standard Bearer of 25 points. In addition, Battle Standard Bearer with no points magic items. Battle Standard Bearer can post a single magic standard with no points limit. Now we will get to BSBs because Tomb King BSBs are different to everybody else's BSBs.
They're better.
They're actually worth taking.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a... Overall, I think it's not a shock to see Tomb Kings have done alright, like gaming-wise, because there's a lot of options for them. And they've also got their journal list, which obviously we're not doing today, but...
overall, the Mortuary Cult Warrior is the better list out of the two journals. From what I've seen the most of.
Oh, I think it is, yeah.
But I like... They've got a lot of good options, and we'll get stuck into them now. But they're pretty decent, these guys. Obviously, played them a lot in the past myself. These have been your babies for the old world, so I think we both think they're alright. Yeah.
But let's have a look at some special rules.
Start us off, John.
Arrows of the Asaph. So units with this special rule may never apply any modifiers to their rolls to hit when shooting, regardless of the source of the modifier.
So it's always the same.
Always on their what is effectively their ballistic skill. So. Yeah.
You use a ballistic skill 2, so you on 5s. You show up to a great bows skill for 3.
Yeah.
So you on 4s.
I actually think they're really decent.
Yeah.
I think they're good. Yeah, I think they're good now.
Yeah, Arrows of Saf is a really good rule. Hampered a little bit by the ballistic skill, but it helps them out.
It was always the same.
Yeah, it's always been the same.
Excuse me. It's always the same as it used to be. But
Yeah.
I think it's better now with the changes to shooting and things like that. I think having the 5s all the time is good.
I think it's really punchy on the Ushapti now. I think the Ushapti look decent.
The Ushapti are decent for that, yeah.
We'll get to them. Cleaving Blow?
Yeah.
Give this one a go. If a model with this special rule rolls a natural 6 when making a roll to wound for an attack made in combat, it has struck a cleaving blow. Enemy models whose troop type is regular or heavy infantry, light or heavy cavalry, or war beasts are not permitted armour or regeneration saves against a cleaving blow. Ward saves may be attempted as normal.
So this replaces the Tomb Guards killing blow they used to have.
Yeah.
They now have this. Because I think the entire unit with Killing Blow these days might have been a bit strong.
Attacks that wound automatically
Killing
can't
Blow's changed now, isn't it?
can't
That's
use
why.
this rule.
Yeah.
It's Killing Blow light basically.
He's Killing Blow light, yeah.
It's only Killing Blow light because they
They
fundamentally
beefed up
changed Killing Blow.
Yeah.
Killing Blow can now kill Monster Synth.
But I mean,
And
look,
all that.
overall,
Very good.
It's a
overall-
decent roll. It
Yeah.
helps him. It helps like Tomb Guard get through armor and regen.
It's alright. It's solid.
the
It's
armour
solid.
part's the bit that I think is
Yeah.
really important.
The regen not so much because you get combat points. You
But-
get combat rest for regen saves.
I don't think it would have hurt to let that work against everything, because it doesn't remove you from play. It just as you can't take an armor save for roll 6.
Yeah, doesn't kill you.
So I think I would have let that go
Even if the
because
6 goes on a
that
Monster
would have meant that
Infantry,
they-
it's just a wound.
yeah, that would have meant that they were really scary against, like, say, your big dragons that have lots of good armor. And
It
lots
would have
of
made
regen.
Tomb Guard very, very takeable on
Yeah,
the
that's
grounds that...
quite a good counter
I mean,
to the dragons. You get
that-
through 2 of the 3 saves.
Well, it also
That's
makes
what
you
I
want
mean.
to take an infantry unit.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think it's a really good rule. I just wish it had gone a little bit further. Looking at the way the game's shaped up in terms of
I didn't mind it at
lots of
first,
big
but as the
flying
game's
monsters,
gone on, the more I've been
Um,
like, actually, yeah.
lots of big flying rid of monsters. I think this could have just been a little bit better. And they're not the only army that has Cleaving Blow either.
No,
so I think
High Elves are the other one.
it could have been
Demons of
better.
Chaos have it as well.
Yeah, I
they
think
do have it on
Dark
there.
Elves have
stuff.
got it as well.
So a lot of legacy factions have it. So there's only 2 actual supportive factions that do
Yeah,
have
but
it.
I just think it could have been a little bit tidier. But yeah, we're where we are with that. It's decent, guys. Don't get too upset. But unfortunately, the meta stuff, lots of monstrous infantry, lots of chariots,
All
lots
the
of
meta.
flying rid of monsters. The stuff that you're seeing lots of on the tabletop at the moment, it doesn't work against, which I think is a real shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curse of Necropolis, man.
Yeah, I'll take Curse of Necropolis. How the semi-mighty have fallen. It wasn't great in 8th edition. It's been made even worse.
It was okay in 8th, it's terrible now.
Yeah, Curse of Necropolis basically it's a replacement for Curse of Tomb Kings and Princes. If a model with special rule loses its last wound to an enemy attack, that unit that made the attack must immediately make a leadership test. If this test is failed, the enemy unit suffers D3, strength 2 hits, and AP of nothing. What's the point?
Hits
If-
a low
if-
strength.
if
Got a
they-
foul leadership check. Sorry.
No modifier.
No.
What is the point?
If they fail a leadership test, it's rubbish, man.
I mean, if you had to fail a leadership test, I would have made these like D6, strength 6, no arm saves.
Yeah. You know what?
It's terrible, mate.
All of that is completely and utterly not the worst part of it. The worst part of it is not called Curse of Mummy.
No,
So
Yeah.
Curse
Um,
of Necropolis.
yeah, Curse of Mummy too.
It's-
That's terrible.
Get it out of
So
it.
not only is you're losing your like big general, you're also losing dignity because you're having to use this rule as well. You can choose not
You're
to
gonna
use
make
it.
someone roll.
Yeah.
So I make an roll at least.
So I'm
I've
sorry.
done one hit, strength 3 no armor saves.
Strength 2.
Two.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, with arm
Yeah,
saves.
so no arm modifier, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Just get it out of here, mate.
Yeah,
Get
it's not
out.
Yeah. Dry as dust. Which is again, this is brutal. Each time this model suffers an unsaved wound from a flaming attack, your opponent may roll a d6. Your opponent may roll a d6,
They
so
can
they can choose to not roll a d6. Apparently, on a roll of a 1 to 3, the flames die down, nothing happens. On a 4+, the flames take hold, and this model loses 1 additional wound. If they took 3 wounds from flaming attacks, you roll 3 dice. If you roll 3 4s, they take an additional 3 wounds.
Yeah.
I don't mind this though because
It's
they
like
were
Flammable was.
but flammable was
Well,
always
flammable is just a flat double your wounds.
yeah. So
whereas-
I quite like this. I don't hate this. That
Whereas
much.
now it's only on a 4+, they take the second wound. So it's better than it was.
And it doesn't apply to everything in the list. If I remember
No,
rightly,
it's
it
like
only
it's the kings, the princes,
applies to
the
certain
dragons.
basically bonus
Yeah.
stuff. It's the dragons, it's the kings.
I don't think it's a statuary either.
No, the
No.
statuary you don't. They're not affected. We'll get into the dry
Yeah.
stuff,
Um,
but it's not as much as you think.
No,
It's
I-
basically all the stuff that was flammable last time, which was
Yeah.
pretty much your characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
it's
so it's
embalmed, it's dry as dust.
I don't understand the idea behind your opponent may roll a d6. Why would they choose to not roll the d6?
Perhaps because they don't want to get out of combat this turn and you're short of wounds. And they want to keep you they want to stay locked in so that they
If you got 1 wound left and you make them take 4+, they're probably going to fail 2 or 3.
perhaps so you
like
can't
one or
cast a
two.
spell on them or shoot at them when you're.
I think there's tactical reasons as you want to keep them
But I
in
don't
that
think it's
combat.
going to come up often.
Maybe.
But yeah,
The main
it's
use
very
part.
it's very situational.
No, I agree.
What's this? What are the attacks underneath this anyway?
Note that the excess wounds caused to this model have no additional effect except in the case of the character that is part of a challenge, in which case this special rule counts for overkill. Excess wounds do not spill over onto other models in the unit.
Okay. So they count for overkill, but nothing else at that point.
So if you're in the challenge they count for overkill, but if you're out of a challenge they don't count for combat res.
Yeah.
No.
So-
excess wounds. excess wounds or wounds over your total wounds. So if I do 3 successful wounds to a 3 wound character, we rolled a dry stuff and I do 6 wounds.
You only get 4.
I only get 3 because it was a 3 wound character.
I think Kings of 4.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I picked 3
okay,
character, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I mean, it's just explaining how they work for combat res.
Indomitable, James?
A unit with this special rule reduces the number of wounds suffered due to unstable by the number shown in the brackets. So Indomitable X. So this is good. It's basically up to 2 point reduction. I think is the most you get.
You can get a 3 from a D3 from the BSB.
Yeah. Oh right, so but effectively, I was just thinking, I didn't realise that. So I'm just thinking the only stuff goes up to 2, and it's got this rule in its base profile. But special rule isn't cumulative, so you can't
stack. If someone's got Indomitable 2 and then you BSB it and you'll arm Indomitable 5, doesn't work like that.
Yeah. You have to use the highest one.
Yeah.
So you can't choose to use the low. You have to use the highest one.
But also, it doesn't affect break tests.
It's decent.
It does affect crumble tests. Sorry, you can't use Indomitable against crumble.
No, you can't.
Even though that's clearly the intention.
Because the rule for crumbling when you're Hierophant dies, you take a leisure test and you just lose wounds.
Oh, when for the Hierophant it doesn't work.
Yeah, when the Hierophant, we'll get to that.
It's a big reduction on what used to be the War Statuaries rule, which was called
Animate Construct.
Animate Construct, yeah. So it's a reduction on Animate Construct. I didn't realise that last part. That really
it's again, it doesn't specifically say that, but the wording of the crumble test. We'll get to that when we get to the High Priest. The wording says is that you don't take an instability check. It's not unstable. It's just roll dice. Roll dice. Whatever you fail by, you lose wounds. Yeah. So I think it's clearly the intention that Indomitable would stack. It doesn't make sense that the Indomitable would disappear when the Hierophant died, but you know.
I mean, it's a good rule. It helps you. It's on a lot of war statuary and a lot of your characters.
He's at his best on your monsters, mate.
Yeah.
Other than
they
that,
don't lose by much. If they lose.
So.
Khopesh.
Yeah.
So, if you have the rule Khopesh, a hand weapon carried by a model with this special rule has the arm piercing characteristic of -1. And again, it's the same as everything else. It only applies to a single ordinary hand weapon. Does not apply to the model's mount. If you're using 2 hand weapons or any other sort of weapon, this rule ceases to apply.
I still think it's dumb that 2 hand weapons doesn't get it. If you're using 2 Khopeshes, why do you not get Khopesh?
It's good, or because
it's okay to have, because a lot of stuff does have it. Tomb Guard have it, and the thing is, obviously, in this game, you can select whether you want to use the halberds or the Khopeshes. Yes. So there might be times when you look at it and go, I want the +1 save from the shield, so I'll take the Khopesh. And you lose your strength, but you don't lose any AP at that point. Yeah. His halberds are only -1.
They're minus
-1 on bane 1.
Yeah, but it's that more as the +1 save. There's that time you want the extra save.
Trouble is for me, a 5-up save is just I'm never going to want to take a 5 from a 6 up to a 4.
Well, 5-up goes to a 4 up at that point.
No, they've got a lot of armor and shield. That's it.
They don't have any
armor. So 5-up's as good as they're going to get to. So I just don't know if
I mean, 5-up is better in Old World than it was in 8th edition. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but I just don't think I would trade that for the extra damage that my Strength 5 is going to do.
Depends. I think it depends.
It's only better because that's a more common save. Though it's still only a third of the time you're making.
I think it's depending on the fact if you want to try and hold something up or if you're trying to kill something. That's what you're trying to do.
Very situational.
Yeah,
it is situational.
It's alright,
but the actual rule itself is good. Any AP you can get is a good AP.
Yeah, I agree. AP. It's just unfortunately the stuff that's got that rule generally has probably better AP available to it.
You should have to do great bows.
Yes, yeah.
Because they have this rule and they don't have another weapon.
It's good for them. It's good for the odd bit.
Yeah.
It's just.
I think Lich Priest models have this rule as well.
Yeah, I think they do. Now, obviously, getting on to the next one we spoke about this earlier, Nehekhara and Phalanx. A unit with this special rule that is arrayed in a close order formation and that is equipped with and chooses to use shields. There you go. There's the difference. So Tomb Guard can purchase Nehekhara and Phalanx.
You may choose one to use.
There might be a time when you choose to use the shields, so you get the Phalanx and then you get the Khopesh. Yeah. May choose to not give ground should it lose a round of combat. However, if the winning side is significantly outnumbers the losing side and it overwhelms it will overwhelm the loser. If the unit strength of the winning side is more than twice that of the losing side, the unit cannot use this special rule and must give ground as normal.
I think it's good because I think you get it at least once, sometimes twice, because your unit strength's got to be double. But I think that for you not to be able to use your Phalanx, but where I think it falls short is the fact that there's a lot of stuff that does big damage, like Monstrous Imp, like Cavalry, that has actually it isn't 1 unit strength, it's 2 or 3 unit strength.
Yeah.
So you look and go, oh, I've still got like 18, I've still got 18 Tomb Guard or whatever, but actually if I've hit you with like 10 knights, I'm on 20. You're going to get it that turn, but what I mean is the kind of, it's going to drop off quicker than you think against those multiple unit strength units.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the units we've run around this game are the cavalry.
You say it's best against monsters,
and the other thing
generally monsters are just of wounds.
The other thing with unit strength though is that you add it up. So if I whack in a block of cav and a monster, suddenly I might actually be getting quite close to knocking off your unit strength and doing you over. But I mean, look, overall, I've played a few games. I played a couple of games where this rule came in clutch from my opponent, and something that I found overwhelming about that was it came in clutch from my opponent in the game, and it meant that he won. And then we played 2 games after that, and I just didn't charge that unit.
Yeah.
Until I'd whittled it and done damage to it.
So it builds into the idea that you got to take a massive unit with this sort of thing.
Yeah, because you had like 35 Tomb Guard or 40 Tomb Guard with characters in there.
You get done by for once, and then you realise
it felt like a bit of a hedgehog, because I just looked and went, right, well next time I won't ever do that again.
Yeah.
I'll clean everything up, and then when I did charge a unit, I'd taken some damage off it with other stuff, maybe like a spell, maybe like a template or 2, a bit of shooting. And then when I did charge it, because I'd killed everything around it, and because the infantry is very slow moving, because it doesn't march, only moves 4, I just blasted around all the other stuff and then charged it with everything.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work because I charged it with like my whole army. Do you know what I mean?
It seems like a one-hit wonder.
It does, yeah. I in principle, it's going to be really good against other infantry-heavy armies. Sadly, you're not seeing tons of that at the moment. So.
And the last rule is Nehekhara Undead, which is the main rule for pretty much the entire army. Models in special rule are undead. Undead models cannot march unless they have fly, and choose to move by flying. In addition, all undead models have the following universal special rules. They have fear, immune psychology, unbreakable, and unstable. A character with the special rule cannot join a unit without the special rule, and vice versa.
It's fine.
Just everything in it. So it's a bit of a change that you can outmarch if you fly.
This is very
which
good.
is a massive change to it. It means that you're
it's great for carrion. It's great for the dragon and
Necrosphinxes.
And what's dominating?
Dragons and Necrosphinxes.
Dragons and Necrosphinxes.
It's also
with
good
support from Tomb Scorpions that burrow up.
Yeah.
So they get
It's also good for if you get old the Steed of Shadows, not Steed of Shadows, you know the spell I mean.
Spectral Steed.
Spectral Steed from Necromancy.
Which gives your wizard fly.
Your wizard gets fly 10, so your wizard can fly 20.
Yeah.
And he's a skirmisher, so he can go in the
360,
direction he wants. Yeah, it's actually really good for stuff like that.
It's a little bit inside the rule that makes fly really handy to have any other.
Yeah, fly becomes really strong in this list.
And we want to go with the Resurrecting the Fallen very quickly?
In a
thing about fly as well, Spectral Steed is just good in general, because if you chuck it on a unit, at that point, that unit then gets fly.
Special Steeds only on characters.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Steed of Shadows.
Steed of Shadows, that's what I'm thinking of, which you could use.
You access Demonology?
Is it Demonology?
Yeah, Steed of Shadows is Demonology.
It's the answer.
Resurrecting the Fallen. In the Tomb Kings of Khemri army, it is possible to heal a unit by recovering lost wounds and to resurrect fallen warriors. Wound recovered in this way follow a strict order. Any characters that have joined the unit are healed first. That's a big change from previous sets of rules where characters couldn't be healed. A character that has been reduced to 0 wounds or removed from play cannot be resurrected.
You're joking.
Second, models with more than 1 wound on their profile are then healed. Next, unit champions are resurrected, displacing rank and file as appropriate, followed by standards and musicians. Finally, rank and file models are resurrected. Right? Note, in the case of multiple wounds, each model must be fully healed, recovering all of its lost wounds before another can be healed or resurrected. Note, also, at least 1 model must remain in order for the unit to be healed. In other words, a unit that has been reduced to 0 wounds and removed from play cannot be resurrected. Resurrected models are added to the front rank until it reaches the minimum to claim rank bonus, after which models can be added to the front or rear rank. If the unit already has more than 1 rank, models must be added to the rear rank. A unit cannot be taken beyond its starting size. So there's a lot in there, but I have to say that one of the things I think that's sort of helped Tomb Kings seem quite strong in the early sort of days of this game is this rule, and I think it's, for me, I think the changes to Resurrecting Fallen Warriors, particularly around how you do it, which we'll cover when we look at the characters in a minute, is quite broken. I think that's too good. I don't like it.
It's the amount you can get back.
It's the fact that you can't stop it.
You can't stop.
That's what makes it broken. I don't mind you getting a few models back. I don't mind you being able to double it up some turns or add to it, or all these jammy things you can kind of do with your items and stuff and your synergy. I'd never have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with the fact that you can't stop it.
You can't. The only way you can stop it is by reducing leadership. If you have anything to reduce.
And there's not much in the game that actually does that. Not tons.
Apart from spells and stuff like that.
A couple of spells, yeah. And obviously, I'm probably in range to dispel that.
Necromancy does a lot of leadership.
Necromancy does a lot of it. Necromancy is probably the best counter against the undead.
Yeah, other undead really.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's your special rules. I think overall, Tomb Kings have done alright. Yeah, they've done alright on special rules.
But let's get into our characters, which they have less of. It's not a bad thing. But,
Starts off with the Monarchs.
Yeah, Monarchs of Nehekhara. So you've got Tomb Kings and Princes. So Tomb King is movement 4, weapon skill 6, BS 3, strength and toughness 5, 4 wounds, initiative 4, 4 attacks, and leadership 10. And he comes in at 160 points. Not a lot of money for that stat line, to be fair. And then the Prince is movement 4, weapon skill 5, BS 3, strength 4, toughness 5. 3 wounds, 3 initiative, 3 attacks, leadership 9. So he basically
90 points as well.
He's only 90 points. So I feel the Prince is a little overcosted at 90 points. But the Prince does give you access to my will be done.
I don't know, the 3 wounds, I think.
Yeah, I do like the idea they kept their fourth and third wound.
I also think, like, did Tomb Kings have 5 attacks before?
No.
No, I don't think they did.
No, they had 4 attacks.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
So yeah.
Because in which case, I think the only thing I've seen so far that maintained, well, actually, their stat line fundamentally improved. Because
I think they gained a weapon initiative.
They gained initiative. They were only initiative 3. That's
yeah,
definite.
They did gain an initiative.
And everything else is the same.
Yeah.
So, which is very.
Ergo, he's got better.
Yeah, which is very strange because most stuff,
down.
particularly around initiative, most units went, like most characters lost initiative or lost stuff.
Yeah. They also gained a brand new piece of equipment for the Tomb King army, which is the Tomb King has heavy armour.
Yeah, so they've so the regular infantry, fair enough. Both so the Tomb King has hand weapon and heavy armour. The Prince has hand weapon and light armour. Now they can both take any of the additional following. They take one of the following: additional hand weapon, a flail, great weapon, a halberd, or a cavalry spear, if appropriately mounted. They may take a shield. They may be mounted. We'll get to mounts later. A Tomb King may post up to 100 points of magic items, and a Prince may post up to 50 points of magic items. Now they have Curse of the Necropolis, Dry as Dust, Flammable, Indomitable 2, Kopesh, My Will Be Done, Nehekhara Undead, and Regen 5+. Now obviously Flammable makes you lose your regen against flaming attacks, and Dry as Dust obviously potentially doubles the wounds for flaming. So it's
they're getting double kicked in the teeth really on flaming.
Yeah, it's the same as they always were, but on the grounds that flaming doesn't stop regen in this game anymore unless they're flammable.
It's a kick in the teeth for them.
Yeah, it hurts for them specifically because they get hit more than others.
I don't know if I think that would have been enough to make them flammable and say they can't use their regen. To then give them Dry as Dust as well feels a bit harsh. But I think overall they've done really well. I think My Will Be Done is more flexible than it was in the past.
The thing that doesn't make sense to me is that Dry as Dust, like, just the wording of Dry as Dust. Why, like, they literally live in the desert, like, so they're more susceptible to fire.
Because they're
surrounded by heat perpetually.
No, it's because they're covered in embalming fluids.
Yeah, so don't call it Dry as Dust then, because they're not Dry as Dust, are they?
They're oily.
Yeah, call it something that makes more sense.
Like flammable.
Dry as dust. Yeah, dry as dust just doesn't make. I just don't like that rule. Like the wording of it.
But yeah, I think My Will Be Done. Although you don't give your weapon skill like you did in previous sets. I mean, it's actually had a few different iterations because it used to let you cast spells in one point as well.
So what does My Will Be Done to do, Joe?
During the command phase during the command sub phase of their turn, the character may attempt to exert their will upon those around them by making leadership tests using their own leadership. Obviously very high, so most of the time they're going to pass it, which is good. If this test is passed, choose one of the following modifiers. To start your next turn, a character, their mount, and any unit they have joined have gained the modifier to a maximum of 10. Forward to Glory plus D3 movement, My Worthy Champions plus 1 weapon skill, or Strike Like the Cobra for plus D3 initiative. All very good. Most of the time you're probably going to use the weapon skill with the initiative.
I honestly think they're all very good.
They
I
are.
think situationally very flexible, whereas in the past, perhaps not been as flexible as this is. I think the Monarchs come out really good. I think they
do.
really are very flexible characters. They've got access to decent equipment. They're very hardy, very sturdy. Got good mounts. They
Just want to
they've
point out
done
the fact
well.
you can't cumulative the model be done. You can't have a prince and a king in the same unit and time together.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah, they have come off very strong. They get access to some good mounts and a new mount which makes no sense, which is the steed. But we'll get to that in a second. They have a lot of good stuff. Magic items for them seems really decent. They have a monstrous stat line, just standard. Just a really
What's
good stat line.
interesting with My Will Be Done, if you used to have a king and a prince in the same unit, and you both went for the plus D3 initiative, and your first guy rolled the initiative of 1.
No, it's in other words using it more than once in the same unit during the same turn has no further effect. So if you get
So what I'm saying is, if you roll the first one and he rolls a 1,
you have to stick with it.
You have to stick with that.
using
If
it
you
more
don't
than
get
once.
to use the second one and you roll a 3, so I'll take 3.
No,
use it
you're
more than
using
once
it
in the
more than
same
once.
turn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you should be able to use the like because
The best one.
When we get to like the Indomitable, that specifically states that if
You
affected
use the
by
best one.
both, use the highest value. I
Yeah.
feel like My Will Be Done should have been the same.
I don't mind that.
No, but no, the kings and the princes, they are both really good.
Yeah, they're decent.
Yeah, they are.
Better than they were. That's better than they were beforehand, which you never saw a king or a prince.
But often, unless someone has a big old block of skeletal.
Tomb guard or skeleton.
Yeah, and they have a weapon skill 6. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, overall they seem more useful. I think combat characters seem more useful than they did in the last set of rules. They're much more like they were in 6th and 7th, where combat characters were pretty important, and these guys seem to.
You
have
could
held
say
up.
where combat characters were king.
Yeah, I mean they definitely these have held up. The Monarchs, they're decent.
Let's move on.
Royal Heralds.
Yep.
Movement 4, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 60 points. Very reasonable price for that.
Yeah, I feel like they should have.
Regular imp, 25 by 25s, hand weapons like armours. Third wounds, they're only a white though, aren't they? They're only meant. I know they seem to have changed the modelling wise, but they were always sort of traditionally meant to be like a chief tomb guard.
Yeah, I still would have liked to have seen him with a third wound.
A half mummified tomb guard, a half mummified tomb king.
I think we'll probably disagree on that one. It's normally like the house champion in it that's like been half.
I don't think it's that.
I don't know if they should be as tough as a prince. But I mean, either way. Again, one of the following: add hand weapon, flail, great weapon, halberd, cavalry spear if appropriately mounted. They could always take a horse. Shield, maybe mounted. Mounts we'll get to later, and can purchase 75 points of magic items. He's randomly very spicy.
He's higher than a tomb prince. He's higher than what could be his liege.
Yep. It's almost as if they should have a third wound. Let's get to the special rules, eh?
Go on, James. Special rules.
Banner of the King, Dry as Dust, Flammable, Indomitable 1, Kapesh, Nakaran Undead, Regen 5+, and Swarm Protector, a few in here. A Royal Herald that has been upgraded to a Battle Standard Bearer.
Does he Banner of the King?
Yeah, I was going to get that.
No, you hadn't read the main!
Yeah, so I was going to do it in a minute. Replaces the Hold Your Ground rule from the Old World Rulebook with a new version of Hold Your Ground. This is the Banner of the King special rule. Friendly units within Battle Standard Bearer's command range may reroll any failed leadership test. In addition, friendly units within the Battle Standard Bearer's command range reduce the number of wounds lost to unstable by D3. Note that this is not cumulative with Indomitable. If a unit is affected by both, simply use the highest value. Now there is some suggested argument in that. I think there's some trickiness in the wording. The highest value when I've rolled the D3 or the highest value before? 'Cause surely the D3 is always the highest value.
I'm going to go the highest value when you've rolled the
I would
D3.
agree, but I'm just interested.
I'm not having any arguments.
I'm just interested. So this is what I think means that we'll see lots of Tomb King BSBs, and it's what I think makes the resurrection in Tomb Kings broken.
Yeah, because you get to reroll any leadership
Yeah,
checks.
any
leadership checks.
The
The fact that the
reroll
big
any check.
Battle Standard Bearers as a whole were brought down from what they could actually provide to your
Yeah, they
army.
went from really almost essential
They went from
to
basically
utter
1
garbage.
plus to
I would say are garbage.
on 1 plus to non-essential.
Yeah, non-essentials. I would say garbage.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can still
I
reroll
would
the
go-
break tests.
I would go further than non-essential. I would say waste of points.
Okay, well, that's a
No,
little
because
unfair.
I think the main reason for the Battle Standard Bearer was to reroll the break test, which you can still do with them.
Yeah,
That
but the
wasn't
break
the
tests are
reason,
just
to be
way
fair.
less impactful now.
I disagree.
I don't think
Like,
they
I
are.
think if stuff gets trounced, it's gonna go, and otherwise it's probably just gonna give ground, or it's gonna fall back in good order.
Yeah,
Both
but
of
it's
which
on that
are not that
on
big
that
a deal.
time when you lose by 1 and you've still got base your entire unit, and then you roll an 11 and you're going to run away flat. It's worth that.
Yeah, I don't disagree on those terms, but I
I
just don't think it happens that often.
I disagree with the idea that they are garbage. I don't take
Well,
Battlestar Barriers as much as I used to.
It's a weird one, right? Because the Tomb King Battlestar Barrier you basically never took because it gave you animated construct like 1, basically, effectively.
It gave you Indomitable 1.
Yeah, literally. But because they were pointless because you didn't take in leadership tests with Tomb Kings.
Very rarely.
Whereas now, there's actually, with stuff like the command sub-phase and things like that, you do take a lot more leadership tests. Certainly more than you did.
As you said with the Arise special as well.
Yeah, well, the reason you take this is for a rise, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, you don't take rate tests, you just give ground.
No.
Well, it obviously increases your command range to 12 as well, which if you've got a command ability.
Does it increase your command range?
Yeah, that is the rule for Battlestar Barriers.
Oh, his, yeah, but he doesn't have a...
No, I'm saying if there was something that could give him a command ability...
Which in the Mortuary
Which
Cult
I think, in the Mortuary Cult list, you can make wizards BSBs.
Oh, yeah.
So they get a 12-inch bubble, which is nice.
Yeah,
But I think there might be an item that gives them stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway.
And there's one protectors. Should a monarch of Nehekhara suffer a hit whilst being free of this model, you may choose to transfer the hit and all of its effects onto this model. That's, I think, less good because it used to be the wound.
It should just be suffer a hit within 3 or is in the same unit. If I'm on the other end of a 6-inch unit, I can't use Swarm Protector.
No, but it's okay because if I'm 20 inches away, I can still contribute an attack.
I also like the idea
if I'm wide enough.
I
also like the idea that you can stick this guy within 3 inches of your dragon mounted Tomb King and he's going to take that hit. That was the big, massive hit aimed for him. Anyway, you're probably going to see Raw Health because
also it's worth bearing in mind.
That is a very good point. I hadn't considered that.
It's not specified to infantry
stands
only.
behind him, and then when he finally gets whacked by like
the
something
cannonball.
that matters,
It's a cannon, mate. Yeah, you can mug off a cannon.
But the cannon's not that dangerous.
Wounds him on a 2.
If the dragon's got 1 or 2 wounds left, I'd probably take the
But
cannon.
I mean, when you're fighting like that ogre blade guy.
It's also not if from the shooting phase only. Say your dragon's in combat, but your Tomb Herald isn't. The Tomb Herald can still take the hit from the combat that he's not in.
Yeah.
There's also
interference.
There's also nothing to say that you've not got 2 combats going alongside each other, and the Herald in a separate combat to the King can take the hit. Nothing that says you can't.
Yeah. Also, you can take multiple Heralds and they will stack.
Yeah.
They're only 60 points.
But with 75 points a gear,
you may choose to transfer that hit and all of its effects to this model.
To this model.
Yeah.
Not to a model with this special rule. It's that specific model.
Yeah.
So you can take 3 Royal Heralds and you got like 6 additional wounds.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's if that hit even wounds.
Yeah.
And then you've still got your save on that Herald. If he takes the armour of Silvered Steel, if he takes something that's actually like not very good, but like you might take an item that's like not all that good.
Take 3 Royal Heralds, do more horses, and run them behind the Tomb Dragon.
Yeah. And give one a battle standard so
Yeah,
you can reroll your rises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, good stuff.
On to Lich Priests then. These are really essential to your army, if I'm honest, as they always have been being the Hierophants. They are movement 4, weapon skill 3, weapon skill 3, strength 3. The High Priest is toughness 4, the Mortuary Priest is toughness 3. The High Priest has 3 wounds, the Mortuary Priest has 2. They're both initiative 2. The High Priest has 2 attacks these days, whereas the Mortuary Priest has 1, and leadership 8 and 7 respectively. And they're 140 points or 55 points. That is a staggering drop.
Yes.
Yeah, the level 2s or the level 1s are so cheap.
The level 1s are something that I think, as much as they're only leadership 7, when they're re-rolling the check, they're going to pass most of the time for the rises. And I wouldn't even upgrade them.
No.
I just leave them at 55 points and just be like, your job is to get wounds back. You stand half an inch behind all of my units. And you're not even like in the risk zone.
Yeah, they are regular infantry. They come with hammer them. A High Priest is a level 3 wizard, and Mortuary Priest is a level 1 wizard. Every Lich Priest knows spells from one of the following laws of magic: elementalism, illusion, or necromancy. You see a lot of necromancy. I think people start to play around with some of the other laws, but you see a lot of necromancy.
I think there's no point in playing around with laws.
Illusion, I think, is quite decent. I'm not sold on elementalism at all.
A lot of beacon players use elementalism.
Yeah,
I'm not particularly sold.
I don't think it's very good.
I think
it's good because it comes with Plague of Rust, which does help out a lot with some of your lower AP units.
Maybe a level 1 on it just for the for the cheeky play.
Yeah.
But if you can roll it,
It's a 1, yeah. They may be mounted. A High Priest may be a level 4 wizard and may purchase a magic item up to 100 points. The Mortuary Priest may be a level 2 wizard and may purchase a magic item up to 50 points. Special rules wise, they come with Arise, Curse and Necropolis. So they gained the curse.
Yep.
That was specifically only for the Tomb Kings in previous editions.
Yep. That's why it's not Curse of Mummy anymore.
Yeah,
they're in Domsel 1. They have Kopesh. Banner. Lore of Nehekhara.
Actually good on them.
Yeah. Lore of Nehekhara, Nehekhara and Undead, regen 5+, and from Beneath the Sands. They don't have... No.
They don't have
don't
Fire Star Flammable.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they did in 8th. Because they weren't... Traditionally, Leash Priests weren't embalmed. They were
No, they were still alive. No, they didn't have flammable.
They didn't have flammable.
No, it was only the mummies that had
Because
flammable.
leashes were still alive. It was the mummies. It was
Yeah.
basically only your Tomb Kings and Tomb Princes that
And
had
Heralds.
flammable.
I think Heralds might have
Yeah,
it.
I think
Yeah,
they
Heralds
did.
did, yeah.
Right, so on to their rules, and the big one, that is Arise. So, during the command subphase of their turn, if they are not engaged in combat, this character may attempt to resurrect the fallen by making a leadership test using their own leadership. If this test is passed, a single friendly unit that has the Nehekhara and Undead special rule within 12 inches of the character recovers a number of lost wounds. However, magically repairing a gigantic undead construct is much harder than raising skeletons from the sand. Therefore, how many wounds are recovered depends on the unit type, unit's troop type, and its character's level of wizardry. If the unit is regular infantry, heavy infantry, or swarms, it recovers a number of wounds equal to the character's level of wizardry plus D3. If you're light cav, heavy cav, or war beast, you get wizard level +1. If you are monstrous infantry, monstrous cavalry, or light chariots, you gain wizard level, just a wizard level. And if you are heavy chariot, monstrous creature, or behemoth, you just gain a single. Or war machine, you gain a single wound.
The good one, mate, is the monsters cav or chariots. You just cast it and you just respawn an entire chariot, or you just respawn an entire Ushapsi.
Yeah.
If you're a level 4, you just cast it, you get 4 wounds back.
Yeah, you get chariot plus another
That's
wound.
a chariot plus
you
a
get
wound.
You get 2 chariots.
Two chariots, effectively.
Yeah, it's very good, and there's obviously we discussed. There's lots of the thing that's good about that is that like stuff like the good one is heavy chariot, monstrous creature, behemoth, or war machine is a single wound. Don't matter if that's a level 4 or level 1. Don't again. It's a wound back.
Again, following around the dragon and his Royal Herald posse is the posse of level 1 Lich Priest. Just going wound.
They just you do have
next step is be the one who's carried as well to reroll these tests.
That's it. It's really.
That's
strong.
what I was saying about
really strong.
the rerolling leadership test is what I think makes that really broken personally. But yeah, hey,
it's scary because like you come up against. I played a Tomb King player, and he had a block of 6 Ushapti, and I charged him with my dragon, and he challenged, and I killed his character. And
he brought back to life.
And he bought I killed his character champion and like crumbled him for like effectively did like 6 wounds. And he's like, yeah, my turn. Like arise the units back to full strength. I was just like,
I'm gonna challenge again.
He didn't challenge again.
should have.
He should have, but he didn't. And that made all the difference. If he had, it wouldn't have made too much difference because in his turn I would have just challenged, killed his unit, then in my killed the champion, and in my turn killed his unit. But he didn't challenge, so I just rinsed the unit, and then that was that. But it's the idea where you can keep bringing, where you can, like at least back in 8th, when someone challenged with their champion against a Bloodthirster, and the Bloodthirster smushed him, and you had to cast a spell to get that champion back.
Yeah.
Nothing you do about it anymore. Oh,
You can't try and stop it, no.
See, you can have a level 1. I'll arise. That's 1 wound back to that
champion's
unit.
gone back.
Champion's back. Yeah, challenge.
Yeah,
Really
I have
really
to
strong.
say that I think that is. I've said it already, but I think that's the mechanic that's really. I think that's the mechanic that really is really concerning to me as a gamer. The fact I can't do anything about it is a real feel bad.
I don't like the amount of you can do nothing about this in the old world. That's
also
and I can't see the guy because he's standing behind something, but it doesn't require any line of sight.
It's just
or
being
anything
12
like that.
inches.
It's just pick something within 12. So he's standing like half an inch behind, saying I can't charge him, I can't see him, even if I'm a monster.
It's
even if
also-
I'm
when
big
it's
and
your
can
level
see him,
4,
I can't
when it's your
fly
level
over
4 on a dragon.
because there's no space.
Usually a lot of these rules are based on command ranges rather than being just a flat 12 inches. If it was command range, it might be a little less aggravating.
Yeah, but it's a flat just 12, and if your wizard's on a dragon, he's not on a 25 by 25 at that point. He's on a 100 by 150.
Yeah, that weighs
The bubble is ginormous. You can if he's in the centre of your army, you can basically hit anyone on your battle line.
Yeah.
Like, it's really
A
strong.
rise is a rule that you can't afford to
The
forget.
counter is that if he's in combat.
If you get him in combat.
If he is on a big dragon, he hits combat, all of a sudden it's only a level 1.
See, this is why I don't think the dragon's worth it on the wizards, because
I still think
you don't want the wizard in combat.
I still think he is.
Yeah, but you've got to remember that, you know, he's got to be in combat at the start of your turn, and if you've charged in your previous turn, like, you've done your rise, then you charge, they've still got to have figures that are fighting him.
Yeah.
Like, in effectively,
And
like, 2 rounds of combat's time.
In their turn, if you, in their combat phase, if it's your turn next, you just, if they give ground, you just choose not to follow up.
You take the
My
test
turn,
and to follow up.
I'll arise, I'll charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so there is lots of ways you can get around it.
But rise, don't forget this rule.
No,
you cannot afford to lose it.
Top tier.
And then we got the last one, which is from Beneath the Sands. So, during the command subphase of their turn, if they are not engaged in combat, again, this character may choose a single friendly unit that has both Nehekhara and Undead and the Ambusher special rule, and that is currently held in reserve, and attempt to summon it by making leadership tests during their own leadership. If this test is passed, the chosen unit is successfully summoned and can be placed anywhere on the battlefield, complete within 12 inches of this model, but not within 6 of any enemy models. This unit cannot charge during a turn and counts as having moved for the purpose of shooting, but can otherwise act as normal. If this test is failed, the ambushes pay no heed to model summons and are delayed until the controlling player's next turn at least.
I think there's an error in this rule, and it says they count as having moved for the purpose of shooting. They should just count as having moved. Because
you come
not
up
within
6 away,
6,
and then
and
you
then
move
you
an
go-
inch away from because they've got 7-inch moves.
Yeah.
So you move an inch away from their model, and you're just like, yeah, go large, mate.
I
This
think
is well good, mate.
I
And
think
there's stuff, there's items that buff this as well.
Yeah.
The
Scarab Brooch. We will get to that.
Is that main rule or is that?
Yeah, main rulebook.
I thought that might have been the mortuary cult list.
No,
I think
main
that's it.
rulebook.
But yeah, I think you, and by the fact you can do something, ambusher roll is done at the start of turn subphase. If you fail that, then you get to have a go at a right from Beneath the Sands as well then.
Yeah.
But if you pass over the ambushes, and because you have to roll the ambushes roll, you may not be able to do from Beneath the Sands. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, for me it needs an FAQ. It should say
You can choose.
you can choose to use at the start of the turn. Like
don't roll for ambushes.
Yeah, don't roll for ambush. Pick a unit held in reserve instead of rolling for ambush. Make a leadership test. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Like this idea.
And
that,
then there's risk
like,
reward there as well. And then when you get to turn, you can't do that on turn 5 because they must arrive that turn.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
And the last one, which is
The Hierophant.
the Hierophant rule, which isn't a special rule in their list of special rules. It's just a thing to decide.
It's a statement. Yeah.
Yep, it's a statement. The Hierophant. So your army must include at least one Lich Priest to be its Hierophant. If your army includes several Lich Priests, the Hierophant will be the one with the highest level of wizardry. If 2 or more models have the highest wizard level, you may choose which one is your Hierophant when writing your muster list. You must tell your opponent which model is your Hierophant before deploying your army. Should the Hierophant be slain, the magical animus of the army starts to dissipate. As soon as the Hierophant is removed from play as a casualty, all friendly units with the Nehekhara and Undead rule lose Regeneration X special rule. So almost all Undead have Regeneration. Your Hierophant dies.
The
you
entire
lose
army
regen.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look, that's fine. I'm not problem with that.
In addition, at the end of the phase in which a Hierophant was removed from play as a casualty, and during each of your start turn subphases for the remainder of the game, all friendly units of Nehekhara and Undead special rule that are currently on the battlefield must take a leash test. If this test is failed, the unit user loses a number of wounds equals the amount in which the test was failed by.
That's why it doesn't stack with Indomitable.
Yeah.
Because Indomitable is
Which is
due to
dumb.
unstable.
It clearly should stack with Indomitable.
Yeah, so
clearly should.
That's where it is, but I
So,
mean,
yeah.
it's not a huge change in the past.
It's
so.
not, as you said, he probably should stack with Indomitable.
It should. It absolutely should.
It's just the wording of the rules is like, it just doesn't. You don't take at least test 4 in Indomitable, it's unstable, you just lose more, it's just unstable.
Yeah.
And you lose less wounds because of that. This one you take a leash test.
And then you lose wounds equal to, because there's no mention of unstable, you don't get it, and it's really rubbish.
Yep.
But
But yeah,
anyway.
as it always has been, Lich Priests are crucial to your army. They are needed. They
Yep.
are
And
essential.
really strong. That's what I was going to say. There was a guy a couple of weeks ago that won a tournament. He had a unit of 90 archers.
90.
Yeah, and he took the item from the journal, I think, that makes them poisonous. And then he had 4 wizards.
Serpents.
And
amulet.
just, you couldn't, and then he had, the rest of his army was Ushaptis with bows, basically. And he just blasted, and what can you do? Because...
I mean, I'm assuming he's on a hill.
well,
I mean, if he that 90 archers, only getting like 10 guys shooting, however wide he's gone.
like 90 wide.
I don't know, a board can hold 90 wide, can
Go
it?
as wide as you can.
Probably maybe 30, 40 wide.
Yeah, probably 40
2
wide.
colour ranks.
There was what is you Shepty?
Well, you put them on the ends, you're 40 wide. And then effectively, he's only got to be. This is where it's really silly. Is he puts a wizard at each end. He's got 4 wizards. He puts 2 at each end, and he can hit his Ushapti, and he can hit the 90 because they're within 12.
Yeah.
And he put wounds back on guys like 40 inches away. So yeah, really, and that was obviously really successful. He won all of his games, very very strong. And again, I think that comes down to the volume of dice he's, the volume of models he's getting back. Even when you get him in combat, he's going to grind you to. You're not going to get the points on it.
As a question, how does detachments work? Can you take detachments?
They don't have detachments.
No, they have detachments. I don't think they have any.
No, they don't have any regimental units, mate, so they can't do it.
I thought they did.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Big sad.
But yeah,
anyway.
I mean that is quite horrible because effectively he takes like 500 points off you on the way in, say, and then when you get to him,
You'll try and grind through 90.
you get nothing because
Skeleton
he just keeps bringing the skeletons back.
Yeah.
Well, 2 level 4s behind with a BSB.
And 2 level ones.
You're going to be
It's 8 plus
getting
2d3.
8 plus 2d3 back a turn.
Without
plus
the
any
level
levels,
ones.
plus any level 1s, plus the Horak jar or anything like that.
Yeah,
you know.
Horak jar plus the re-rolling of the it's bonkers good.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
Necrotext.
Necrotext, yeah. So they are regular infantry. They are movement 4, weapon skill and ballistic skill 3, strength and toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 2 attacks, leadership 7, 55 points. Very cheap for what they are. They have a hand weapon, whip, and light armor.
Whip.
And they may take up to 50 points of magic items. They have dry as dust, eternal taskmaster, flammable, Kopesh, Nakara Undead, and regen 6+. Eternal Taskmaster, during the command sub-phase of their turn, this character may attempt to drive a unit they have joined to greater efforts by making a leadership test using their leadership test. If the test is passed, until the start of the next turn sub-phase, this character and any unit they have joined gain the extra attack +1 and hatred all enemies special rule.
That is a fantastic roll.
Really, really good. And again, your opponent can do nothing to stop it. It's just command sub-phase, roll a dice. Oh, it's a 7, but I can re-roll it. Because
It's
my
a
BSB
little
lets
worse
me
than
do
what it used to be. Because it used to be you just gain the frenzy.
No, you just gain hatred.
Was it?
It's much better than it used to be. It's much better than it used to be.
The only question here that I
What's the
see...
rate you're saying leadership test these days for this, rather than the previous
but
year?
you BSB it.
You got BSB it.
The only thing I've seen that's... it's worth pointing out that all the other things that did similar stuff have lost that.
Yeah.
He's the only one who's kept the ability to kind of give hatred out of the types of characters that did things like that before. But what I find interesting here is this bit about giving hatred. There's this argument in previous sets of rules about spells or things that gave hatred to units that were already in combat. So if I give them hatred, this turn, which is an ongoing combat, I give them hatred, do they now re-roll?
I've always said no.
I would say no because it's the first round, but it's not the first round, but then I've seen people arguing, well, it's the first round they've had hatred.
No, it's not. Hatred is your first round of combat.
I agree, but it is worth pointing out that in
argument.
previous sets of rules,
I-
now
I
that
don't-
isn't the old world,
I'd say there's
where
more
that's
of
happened, there's been precedent to say it goes the other way. So I think that's one that will have to be FAQ'd at some point.
I'd argue
Because people
there's more of an
argue.
argument if you did this and it got charged by your opponent in the turn after you've done this. They go, oh, it's the first round of combat again because another unit's joined the frame. Like, no, it's their first. It's not their first round.
Yeah,
of combat.
it's an interesting one. I think the answer is no, but it is also, I think it's one that's going to need an FAQ to tidy up.
I think it's so plain that you don't. I don't think it does need an FAQ. It's not the first round of combat.
I don't think it does either.
It's
but,
not the first round of
I
combat.
don't think it matters all that much.
Anyway, character mounts, James.
Yeah.
Tomb Kings, Princes may be mounted on skeletal steeds for 12, chariots for 35, necrolyph bone dragons for C page 142, and Khemri War Sphinxes for C page 143.
Well, weird points value.
Yeah, very odd. So we'll get to those later. I would say the
Skeletal steed should not be on
skeletal
that
steed
list.
shouldn't be a mount, but we'll
No.
just leave that. Look, ultimately, the chariots are not good enough to make it worth putting
If they
a
could
king on a
become heavy
chariot.
chariots, they would be worth
If they were
taking.
heavy chariots, that'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
But they're not.
The chariots
Exactly.
aren't anywhere near good enough to mount your characters on them, I don't believe.
They've gone down 20 points.
Yeah, but
It's still-
cheap
still-
doesn't make them good, it
No.
just means you
Yeah.
get more of them.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily want more of them because they don't function very well when you've got loads,
And they're
because
big
you
old
want to
footprint.
get the impact hits in, you don't want a huge footprint, you can't march them, they've the guys in the subsequent ranks are basically worthless. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, literally.
I don't really see the mileage in these mounts that aren't the monster mounts.
You're looking at the last two, and more so you're looking at the third one, which is the Necro's Bone Dragon.
Yeah, the Bone Dragon's very strong. I do think the last FAQ has made the War Sphinx much more takeable. And I'll explain that when we get there.
Yeah.
But the Bone Dragon
is still your top dog.
Is probably your big daddy top dog because it flies.
It flies. You get 9 wounds on it.
Yeah, you get a lot of wounds. You get the toughness, but it flies. That's the crucial element.
You can march with it, yeah.
You know. So yeah, you know, that's where you are really. They've still not, unfortunately, done enough to make Tomb King chariots really very competitive. No. I don't think. Royal Heralds can have skeletal steeds or chariots. We discussed this. The skeletal steeds are strong. High priests or mortuaries can have skeletal steeds or bone dragons. I think both are very good.
Yeah.
That's a question. Obviously, this is just a thought. In the Arcane Journal, you have the calf.
Mm-hmm.
Counts as a Royal Herald.
No.
Can you take him in a normal list on a skeletal chariot?
No.
No.
Because his profile does not have the option for a mount option.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
which is a big sad because we're not going to go over him, but Nikaf can't go on a Royal Chariot, even though he's boy Central.
I want to talk about it. Let's move on.
So
I don't want to be here.
skeletal steeds are movement 8, weapon skill 2, strength 3, initiative 2, 1 attack. They're 12 points. Look, they're randomly heavy cavalry.
And they have Vanguard.
They have Vanguard, Swift Stride, and Nehekhara Undead.
Means they can't join skirmishing skeletal horse archers.
Still on a 25 by 50.
They can't join skirmishing horse archers.
Yeah, I think that's probably the reason. Why can't they join?
Because a skirmishing unit can only be joined by a character with the exact same troop type as
But
the skeleton.
What, as in like light cavalry?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
The horse archers are light cavalry. Lead priests on the skeletal steeds, heavy cavalry. Can't join for the skirmishing.
So skeleton chariots are movement 8. Strength and toughness 4 with 3 wounds for 35 points. You also get the weapon skill 2, strength 3, initiative 2 attacks from the horses. You've got 2 horses on there, so you get 2 attacks, I believe.
Yep, and you're also going to get the 2 crew on there as well.
They are, yes, you are now. Yeah, they are dry as dust. Oh, actually, no, you might not, will you? Because there's no crew on this one, so you won't.
Ooh.
You won't.
No, yeah,
It's not like other ones.
It's not like other where you see page wherever it is.
Yeah, this one's
Oh,
actually
so it's literally
own
just the king on
Theirs
it.
is different as well. These have got dry as dust.
Dry as dust impacts its D3, Nehekhara Undead, open order, reserve move, and swift
They've
stride.
got dry as dust and reserve move.
The swift stride is the thing that makes them
chariots
good,
do.
I'd suggest. But
They do.
not much else. Regular chariots are
Dry
dry
as
as
dust
dust.
reserve move.
Nice, okay.
They do
makes
slow.
sense.
The issue with the skeleton chariots, as we're going to go through and go look at the units, they're light chariots.
Yep.
They have a good amount of impact hits, which is lower than most chariots, but you're taking units of them. But the fact they have no AP on those impact hits is...
They're only D3 impact hits as well, it's not that great.
It's not great, but at the same time, you said that's the issue. You've got less impact hits as other chariots, and you've got no AP on those impacts.
Sorry, I thought you were saying they're a good amount.
No.
When you put them into units, they get a decent amount of impact hits. You get like 3D3 or 4D3. You can get a good amount of impact hits, but the fact they have no AP means that those impact hits are potentially
no
wasted.
AP is just...
It's debilitating.
It's the killer. It's the killer AP. It's the killer.
They're not good. Sorry, they're not a good mount. Don't take them. Shall we move on to the infantry?
Yeah,
It's a
let's
lovely
go.
piece of artwork.
I do like a piece of
That's a classic, mate. That is. That's the old 6th edition cover art for the Skeleton Warriors box.
It's a good old days, mate.
It's the
Tomb
Arabic
Guard.
guy getting bitten by the snake at the bottom. I particularly enjoy it.
Tomb Guard. These are your elite skeletal infantry. They have movement 4, weapon skill 3, weapon skill 3, strength and toughness of 4 with 1 wound, initiative 2, your Tomb Captain is initiative 3. Bizarre.
Yeah, they used to all be initiative 3, so they've had a little bit of a kick.
1 attack, 2 attacks for the Tomb Captain, and leadership 7 for both. They are 10 points per model and 6 points for the Captain. They are regular infantry, they come with hand weapons, light armour and shields.
I think that's a miss. They should have been heavy infantry for me.
I agree.
If they're going to be heavy infantry, I'd give them heavy armour.
Yeah, I don't mind you leaving the armour lighter and just say they're heavy infantry because they're the biggest, baddest boys. It lets them. All it does practically is gives them ranks of 4.
Yeah, that's what it does do.
So I don't think that would have hurt them. But yeah, they're fine. They're still core, aren't they? And they're 10 points, which feels very cheap.
You can take 1 unit as core, and the rest of the unit you can take special.
11 points with a halberd is good.
Yeah, they may take halberds for 1 point per model. You may take full command for 6 points per command model. You may purchase magic standard for 50 points. The Tomb Captain may take 25 points magic items. And 0 to 1 unit per 1,000 points may have drilled or Nehekhara and phalanx. They come with cleaving blow, close order, indomitable 1. They are indomitable, which is quite good to be honest.
It's good for a base unit.
Yeah, for a base unit. Kopesh, Nehekhara and Undead, regeneration of 6+, and regimental units. So this is a regimental unit. They just have no
so they can take detachments.
Do they have any detachments?
Skeleton
They
warriors
do.
are
Skeleton,
also
skeleton archers have detachments.
Yeah, I thought they were. That's what I was going to say. Because what I was going to ask was the reason why I said it was because if you hit a, how does like detachment work? Do they benefit from like the bonuses to the main unit? Still, is that a thing in this game?
No, they don't get the special rules like they used to. I don't believe. They just
rule book with me.
yeah.
I don't
think they get
I'm
the
just
special
using
rules.
some stuff.
Yeah.
It's not important.
You're not going to get skeleton warriors that get cleaving blow if they're a detachment.
No, it's more that like if you cast if you cast a rise, does it hit the attachment?
No.
If you did endless taskmaster, whatever he is,
No.
eternal taskmaster, does the attachments get hatred and plus one
Don't
attack?
think so.
I wouldn't.
Because that's just the unit he's joined, and he's not joined to detachments.
No, I just didn't know.
I
if that's working.
I don't think detachments for regiment units are the same as they were in Empire and the
No,
Ages,
they're
which
not.
has a list of rules which apply to both
Um,
units.
I think it's the rare time I'm going to say this, but these are a unit that do not benefit from drilled. I don't know why you'd ever drill them.
If they can't march.
They can't march, so really all you're drilling them for is to be able to put a few extra guys in the front rank just before you
or
charge.
to move them through a gap.
And
It's just you're not gonna for the point of model. You're probably going to be having a unit of 20 or 30. So these extra points that you just don't want to spend.
I don't.
I'd probably take the point that you spend on drill and put in Nehekhara and Phalanx.
Yeah, if I was going to pick one of them, I'd pick Phalanx.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd take drilled. You're getting very little of that rule.
Honestly, I look at it and go, if I've got 25 spare points, if I take a unit at 25 and I've got 25 spare points, I'm not going to take drilled. I'll bang a magic item on my character.
Yeah, I mean for me,
There's good magic
I
items
think you need
that
a
are
massive
beneficial.
unit of these as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at 40.
I'm looking at 40.
Yeah, I
don't
think you've got
I'd take
40.
less.
You've got a king in there. You've got a necrotect in there.
You got your BSB in there.
Yeah, probably. I think that
This is Starhammer territory for them.
Oh,
I don't think they're very.
they're a
viable
rare
less than that
they're a
because
rare good infantry unit.
Right, see, I'm not sure. I just think if you take enough, they're good. But I think if you take like small units, their initiative's poor, their movement's poor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're not going
they're
to.
a rare good infantry unit in terms of you take a block. You're not going to be turning around and going like you're not going to like taking enough of stuff doesn't just make it good.
As you said, I think this unit is probably the picture perfect excuse for a star.
But when you lose step up, when you have a set of rules where the front rank dies, they don't attack. Having more models does make a unit good. It changes a unit from rubbish to good. 16 of these or 15 of them is completely
but
pointless.
taking
40 of them is
but
massive.
taking 40 skeletal warriors doesn't make that unit good.
No, well,
that's
yes and
what I'm
no. It
saying.
depends what you want it to do, doesn't it? It's not bad with the Nehekhara and Phalanx.
I think if you take 40, you take Tomb Guard over Skeleton Warriors.
Yeah, I agree.
Skeleton
Although
Warriors
they are 2.5 times the points.
Yeah. Skeleton Warriors don't kill anything. Whereas Tomb Guard, they
I
probably
agree.
do kill
You're
stuff.
trying to hold stuff up. These grind. Tomb Guard grind.
Yeah.
Skeleton
Warriors
Warriors,
are a
which
speed
we're going to
bump.
move on to, they hold stuff and you hopefully counter in the flanks with your monsters or your scorpions, but mainly your monsters for that. I think your sphinxes.
But yeah, if you're going to take an infantry unit, you can just take Tomb Guard and fill your entire core section up.
Yeah, I don't hate them for that. I think they're strong.
But skeletal warriors, James. Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, movement 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2, strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 5, 4 points is very cheap. You can take Master of Arms, exactly the same, except he gets second attack, he's 5 points more. They are regular inf, 10 plus in a unit. Remember, you have to take a unit of these or a unit of archers.
So you're not taking any of these.
They can with hand weapon and shields.
40 points for a unit of these is a very good use.
You could, yeah.
Core.
Hand weapon and shields, they can take thrusting spears for a point and light armour for a point.
I think if you're taking them, you're probably taking light armour and spears.
The thrusting spears, if you get charged, they get a point of initiative, don't they? So they go up to 3. There's not much they're still going to go anywhere near before. But
And you get support attacks as well.
Yes.
Just a spear.
Again, maybe the light armour because they've got a shield, but probably wouldn't bother.
I mean, if you're taking these to do what you're probably going to be doing, which is holding something, you want to try
You're
and
taking like a good chunk block. I think
You
you're
want to
taking
take-
spears and shields.
try and give as much of a potential, because they got 2 saves. They got the armour and then the regen.
Yeah, maybe then.
I probably would be tempted to take the
If
light
I was
armour.
doing the Nehekhara and Phalanx with them, I'd take a decent size
Yeah.
unit. So, Master of Arms, standard bearer musician, all 5 points.
Very cheap,
The champion, the Master of Arms, can take 25-point magic item. I don't know what you would take on him.
We'll get to the magic items.
It's worth
There's
doing,
some okay stuff.
But on a skeleton unit champion.
I think it's a bit wasted, but we're not talking about waste. We're talking about can you?
0 to 1 per 1,000 points, can have Phalanx for 10 points per
unit.
unit. So again, when I say it's a big
Really
unit for
good.
me,
Yeah.
is the way to go.
Well, you look at it compared to the Tomb God, mate. That's 1 point. Tomb God 1 point a model. That's 10 points for the whole unit.
Yeah, no,
well
I think it is.
Take 50. That's just 10 points for 50.
It's an auto include, I think. And then a purchase of magic standard up to 50 points, 0 to 1. Again, I don't know what 50-point magic banner is going to make these worth taking.
Gleaming Pennant, is that?
No, that's an Empire book.
It's Empire book only. But again, even then, like reroll leadership test. What?
For crumbling.
That one crumble test.
But if you look at BSB, you reroll leadership.
But if you've not got BSB, that's my fault.
Yeah,
you can't do anyway. So.
They are close order. They're hauled, which means they can claim an extra rank bonus. Then the Nehekhara Undead, they're regen 6. They're regimental unit. I mean, they're not great, but.
They're not
situation
that you can use them as where they're useful is to put them in to something to hold it still. An enemy big monster charges them, hits them and holds them still. The biggest problem with all these types of units is what we discussed earlier. It's one and done. The first time you play that, you get caught out by it. The second and third and fourth, the 100th, you never charge that unit.
Unless you're ready to charge that unit.
Because that unit of Skeleton Warriors at movement 4 is not going to be dictating the pace of the game.
If you see this unit in the middle of the battlefield, you kind of go, okay.
I know if they've got 50 of them, I know exactly what they've got.
Yeah.
I know exactly what they're here to do, and I'm gonna not go anywhere near it until I'm good and ready. And when I'm good and ready, I've probably won.
The point well made though is they are moving forward. They aren't quick enough to force the issue.
No, they can't march.
They can't march. No.
So they go nowhere, mate.
You know that they are really.
I used the Bone Giant
and
I felt Necrolith Colossus, and at movement 6, I felt movement 6 was too slow.
Yeah, it is.
So movement 4, not a chance, mate.
No.
Skeletal Archers. Now this is where you're probably going to see your mandatory unit.
Yeah.
Skeletal Archer, movement 4, weapon skill 2, BS 2, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 5 points a model. The Master of Arrows is +1 BS for an additional 5 points. Regular infantry, they are a unit of 10 plus or 5 plus if an attachment. They have hand weapons and war bows. The entire unit may take light armor for a point. You might not.
Probably wouldn't do that.
And all of your command is 5 points apiece. So you have Arrows of the Asaph, Detachment, Nehekhara Undead, Open Order, and Regiment, regen 6 plus. They're just a shooting unit. I think they're at their best when you combo them up with some other bits from, as we were talking about earlier, the serpent amulet from the Nehekhara, from the
Arcane Journal.
Arcane Journal, thank you. That makes them very good. I think a block of 20 with that on him is decent. If you get them on a hill, really strong.
With the Skeleton Archers, I think you're taking 50 points of them, or you're taking your core of them.
Yeah, I do think though 10-man units could be decent, like just lots of little units. If you want to play that style of like you're not going to get any BPs off me, mate. But as we discussed earlier, you can take a unit 90 and never give any victory points away.
That's what I'm saying. You're taking a min unit, or you're taking a massive unit.
Yeah, I know.
One massive unit with the poison shots.
Yeah, I think overall.
I don't think you're taking multiple units. These guys.
They're still alright.
I ran 2 units.
units.
I ran 2 units
I don't
on the
think
list that I went
really want
with.
more than 2 though.
And I had one with just 20 with the poison shots, and they were decent, and I had another unit, and they were okay. I think they're alright. They're just alright. I'm going to burst through the skeletal skirmish spots here as well, because they're basically the same. They are the exact same stat line as a skeletal archer. Movement 5, weapon skill BS.
Movement 5 is better.
Oh, so plus on movement. Weapon skill BS 2, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 4. So they lose a point of leadership as well.
But
they're only 4 points.
So the same points as a Skeleton Warrior with additional point of movement and 1 less leadership.
Yeah, but they are unit size 5 to 20, which is odd. And they come with just hand weapons. And the entire unit may take warbows for a point or shields for a point, and you may take ambushes on them for 0 to 1, plus 1 point per model. They have the Arrows of the Assass, Chariot Runners, Nehekhara Undead, Regen 6 plus, Skirmishers, and Vanguard.
That's 0 to 1 units in your army can have ambush.
That's the
Well, it's the ultra competitive meta of hand weapon skeletal skirmishers. They got to cap that. They got to put a stop to that.
I get limiting it to an extent, because if I took just 5-man min units of skirmishers with a warbow and just took my whole core like that would be probably quite obnoxious. But
that's the only example of that sort of thing, 0 to 1 unit. That's the only example throughout the entire game of that saying in your army. See,
every other normally is points capped, I think.
But because it's usually 0 to 1. No, it's not 0 to 1 unit in your army per 1,000 points. It's 0 to 1 unit per 1,000 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like it's capped. It's normally points capped. That's what I'm saying instead of army capped.
Oh,
I think if a unit pops up on skirmish with some bows, they can harass some artillery. If people are taking artillery,
The killer here, mate, is they're not scouts.
No.
no, they're just skirmish.
And they're vanguard, so they're going to move 5 inches before the game starts.
Well, that's why you ambush
Well,
them.
you
mate.
probably, if you're taking
you're
these
taking
guys,
them-
you're taking ambush.
If you're taking, they're doing one of two things.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them, or there's 10 of them, and they're in a little gaggle of 10 as skirmish with your level 4 in the middle of them, so he can't be shot.
What you can do,
Or they are ambushing.
what
That's
you
all
can
it
do,
is.
you can from beneath the sands them. Because from beneath the sands you have to have ambush.
Ambush, yeah. So,
Yeah,
I don't
look,
know.
mate,
They're,
let's move on.
they're not great.
There was a unit size 20.
5 to 20.
Yeah.
They're a rare capped unit as well.
What's going on? Skeleton Archers, but yeah, Skeleton Archers you're probably going to take him. They're your 1+ choice of Skeleton Archers.
Yeah, I think that's where the 1+ is going.
You will not take Skeleton Skirmishers.
No.
Those Chariot Runners. Well, a rare occurrence of that.
Chariots can charge through them. Useful to have
Yeah.
because of the because if they, especially if you beneath the sands them, you can beneath the sands them up in front of a unit of chariots.
And then and get blown through when the opponent charges.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
they just go straight through them.
No,
But
so
you're
when
talking
you
about when
when-
they then charge your skirmishes.
because you're trying to
Smash
protect
it.
the chariots from being charged, you bring the skirmishers up to protect the charge. They just get blown through and go over anyway.
Yeah, it's just dumb. You shout to James, please.
Please don't save
I
us.
beg you.
Okay, so these are movement 5, weapon skill 4, which is nice.
Some
But
really
yes,
nice
3.
option there for that Ushapti, which
You have that one, mate.
I do.
Oh,
But you can't buy them anymore.
Um,
I had to
strength,
spend a lot of money for it.
strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 2, which is a bit of a shame. But the ritual blades mean that it doesn't really matter. 3 attacks, leadership 8 is nice. 49 points for these bad boys. You can have an ancient who gives you an additional attack for another 7 points on top, which I don't mind. So they are monstrous imp, 40 by 40s. 3+ in a unit. They come with hand weapons, ritual blades, and heavy armor. Now, you can swap the ritual blades for great bows for free. And
Yeah.
I actually think that, unlike in the past, that is a viable sort of thought
Yeah.
process.
Well, Ushapti are actually viable in both options now,
So,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let alone just, in my opinion, they were pretty much untakeable in the 8th. On both variants.
Yeah, I agree. Arrows of the Asaph, Close Order, Indomitable 1's nice, Kapesh, Nehekhara Undead, Regen 6+. So, combat-wise, the Ritual Blades make them Strength 6 -3. They do make you strike last and they are 2 hands, but, you know, ultimately, they're Initiative 2. How often are they not striking last?
to be honest, if you get the charge off, they go on to initiative 4.
If
If they get a charge.
because they're infantry. But, you know, don't get me wrong,
Strength 6 -3 is viable.
-3 is is
Really
brutal.
good.
yeah, I like
Because
these.
you
They're
like,
also awesome models.
yeah.
Where-
They're awesome models.
Where you get the joy here is you have your phalanx and then you have these kind of checkerboarded back, so you've still got line of sight
Yeah.
to sort of something like a monster that hits the phalanx, and these counter in the side, and they deliver the real
But as you
like,
said,
the real
mate,
punch.
a good opponent will see
Just
that a
not charge
mile
the
away.
phalanx. Yeah, that's the problem.
They'll just charge you empty.
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's why you've got to have them set back
Yeah.
slightly, and that's where your problem is in terms of completing the charge because of your outside wheel edge. So it is challenging to get the most out of them, but they are pretty dangerous in combat. But I think that 3 of these with the bows and no upgrades, I wouldn't bother with the ancient if I was shooting ones.
Yeah.
Is sub 150 points.
What does a bow do?
Is very good artillery.
Oh,
Well, that's
yeah,
that's
mate.
what I'm driving at. That's a good piece of artillery. So they are BS3, so hit on 4s, which is strong.
They're
They've
always
got
on 4 as
a
well.
30-inch range.
It's big.
Strength 6 -1. Armor bane 2. So when you roll that cheeky 6, they're -3, which is pretty scary. Multiple wounds 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a bit of hot volley fire, which is nice.
I played a guy that had 2 units of 6, and on the first turn he shot my Colossus and did 4 of its 6 wounds, and he got unlucky.
Yeah.
And on the second turn, I put 2 wounds back on him with the Horak Jar. On the second turn, he shot me again and killed him.
I'm very surprised he didn't kill him.
He should on
kill him
average.
once.
That's the thing. The strength 6 is immense, especially in a strength 6 meta, which is toughness 6 meta, which is where we are. It's where we're going to be like forever. Is that whole thing? 2 units of 12 is an average of 6 hits, which is then you're getting 3 wounds, Like, it's the multiple wounds too, mate. Everything has to be
Yeah.
scared of multiple wounds too.
Oh.
If it hits chariots, it's half their wounds, you know. Like, if a couple of wounds get through on a chariot, that chariot's just
It's
dead.
for big monsters.
Big monsters.
Yeah.
Most big monsters haven't got a good save. A -1 on a big monster is enough.
Well, unless they're the ridden monsters.
If
Well,
they're
yeah,
ridden
yeah,
monsters,
but
it's
if you
strong.
look at like a Gorgon, for example, it's got a regen, mate.
That's all it's got.
The
Force to wound, it's got a regen. It's 2 wounds, mate.
I like 3
it's-
units of 3. I think that's really strong.
I like the 6 because you got the volley fire and you want to try and maximise how much you're actually doing.
The volley fire lets me.
Shoot an additional rank.
Does it?
I think so.
I don't think it does.
I mean, if you don't move, you get to fire an additional rank for volley fire still. I could be wrong. I don't use shooting units.
Either way,
I should know,
I
so
think
I
I
don't know
think
what
2
I can't
units
remember.
of 6 standing, like 2 units of 6 standing 2, 6 wide or 3x3 if volley wire is as you say. Is very scary for anyone, especially when we start looking at stuff like Jaff's blades.
The Jaff's
yeah,
blades,
Jaff's
which
blades,
we'll
yeah.
get to later, really
Really
lifts
buffs
that
these
out
guys, big stars.
of, really lifts that out into the kind of
The stratosphere.
the threat zone, if you
Yeah,
like. Let me just-
absolutely.
The ionosphere.
Yeah, James is just having a browse at
I'm
volley
just going to have a quick
fire.
look at volley
So
just
whilst
because I've
he's doing
forgotten
that,
it, which is
We'll-
terrible
we'll-
of me. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
Tomb Swarms.
You want to get into Tomb Swarms, mate?
I can take the dead bugs. Tomb Swarms. They are movement 5. We're still infantry at this point. Movement 5, skill 3, strength 2, toughness 2, 5 wounds, initiative 1, 5 attacks, leadership 10, 37 points. They are swarms, unsurprisingly. They are unit size 2 to 10. They have hand weapons, and they may be given ambushes for 2 points per model. They are dry as dust, Nehekhara and undead, poison attacks, regeneration 6+, and skirmishes.
So it's half the models rounding up in
Yes.
the second ranks,
So
in the
2
subsequent ranks.
So
So
2.
you take
two,
6.
So 6, you get 5
Yeah,
shots.
5
Pretty spicy,
shots,
yeah.
which I
It's not
think
bad
is
at all.
enough.
I'd look to doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, that is good.
But yeah, Ushabti, King, they were really good in this edition.
Yeah, we like them. Don't know
Yes.
about kings, but strong.
Swarms.
They were £55 a box.
52, mate.
Sorry,
It's a lot.
52.50. Sorry.
So, right,
They'll
Tomb
be
Swarms.
55 after the price rise.
Yes.
Tomb Swarms, I've just gone over the profile. What we think about Tomb Swarms and special rules?
In a mortuary cult list, they're 1+.
Yes, because they are batteries.
Yes.
But, I mean,
They do nothing else.
we just
done.
need to be careful because we're going to spend too much time on stuff we're not going through.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
In a grand army, I don't see their point.
they're 5 poisoned attacks.
Yeah, but they're not going to attack because they're initiative 1.
But you've
They
got to
have enough
they've got
wounds.
5 wounds. It's
They have
decent.
enough
I think
wounds.
they're okay. I think, like,
Ridiculously though, they can be killing blowed.
yeah.
Yes.
Which is dumb to me. But,
I just think they're
really
okay, but I
dumb.
think once you put in the stuff that you feel is going to win you games, the stuff that's going to really help you, I think there's something that immediately you go, I just don't have the points for them anymore.
Well, we're going to get onto the carrying below, and I'm
We'll
a bit
say
like
that you-
carrying the 10 points less. I'm like,
Yeah.
if
You
you've got
can-
points for that kind of thing, you're probably going to take someone else.
You can bring these guys are really easy to bring back from a rise where you get Lewis level plus D3.
Yeah.
So if you
you
charge
take
me,
3 of them, you do 10 wounds, 1 cast of a rise, and it's basically what it wounds back.
they're almost as good a roadblock as the Nehekhara and Phalanx Skeleton Warriors, if not a little bit. If you take if you're going crazy about 4 bases of them, 4 or 5 bases.
4 bases isn't that expensive though.
It's still it's less than 150 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go crazy. You go a little bit crazy and take a good amount of them. Take 10. He's not getting
I
through
mean, I
it.
don't know about that,
Oh,
but yeah.
it's going that far.
I mean, look, I think they've got a place. I think the like you say, they're a roadblock job, which
Yeah.
is fine. And there's a few things that do that in this army. The phalanx means you can't sort of get out of combat with me, which is obviously a positive. But these guys are a lot of wounds and quite cheap. Not going to be a huge footprint either.
No.
If you had like a block of 6.
No, yeah.
You're sort
I
of
think
sub
if I
200
remember-
points.
If I remember
and
correctly, you can shoot. You can get line of sight over swarms as well. If I remember correctly, so you can shoot over them with your great bows and your archers.
Yeah, so that's not terrible either, is it? Particularly if you just run them out in like a long line in front of your army.
They are a better roadblock for your chariots than the skeleton skirmishers.
They're skirmish
They're a
as
better
well,
roadblock
so you can run
for
them
your
right
shooting
far out.
army,
A unit
actually,
6,
though, aren't they?
a
If you run a
unit
line
6,
in
you
front.
you could run them massively wide because they're skirmish and they're 40 mils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot you can do with them. But,
Yeah.
No, but unit 10 is viable, just to stretch across the entire battlefield.
Yeah. Carrying them.
Carrying, yeah.
So these guys, I think me and John both really like these guys. Movement
I would
2.
like to be 8th. They were just slow. Now they can march. I think they're good.
So movement 2, weapon skill 3, strength and toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3 is nice, 3 attacks is lovely, and leadership 4 is poor, but it doesn't matter. But they're only 27 points, which is really cheap. They don't have any AP, they're 2+3 unit on 40 mils, they're monstrous imp, but they are skirmish, so they've got 360 arc, which is really what makes them great. They fly 10, very strong, because that means they move 20. Necron Undead regeneration 6+, and Swift Stride means they definitely get in.
The 360 arc, Swift Stride, 3 attacks at strength 4 apiece.
These are
they're solid.
Big threat against enemy wizards.
Characters, yeah, they've got the big fly.
Because wizards are going to be running around by themselves in this edition as well.
Oh,
they are going to be running behind the units, and you got the big vultures are coming for you.
Yeah, mate, you'd be terrified if you
Listen up to it,
guys.
So big fan. Like these for that role, and also not a big investment. 54 points for a unit of 2. They'll probably deck most wizards a unit of 2.
Yeah.
If you go for a unit of 3, sort of,
they're certainly going to force people to
sub 80 points. That's scary.
Consider their placements.
They're certainly going to force people to consider placements. If you get into that wizard and you do 1 or 2 of its wounds, they're going to have to start trying to then turn stuff around to that to fight back. There's not a lot of healing in this game. Like, there's not a lot of stuff that gets wound back, especially not on wizards, because people are taking those healing potions on their characters. Like,
you got to think as well.
They're threatening. They are threatening.
You got to think as well.
They go into artillery, like trebuchets, like that kind of thing. Most artillery, they will put the work in.
Yeah, I mean, you're not seeing a lot of artillery at the minute.
No,
I agree, they are good for that. I just think they'll
hit the flank of stuff
wizards.
like handgunners. They hit the flank of those little soft shooting units.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're going to hurt because of strength 4. But yeah, Skeletal Horseman.
I like them. Carrion, we think they're worth taking.
Yeah. Skeletal Horseman. Yeah, I think if you're taking mounted stuff, you're taking horse archers. But anyway.
Looks like you're always saying the archer version of any sort of unit that you've got in the army.
Yes.
Because the combat versions don't have any AP and any strength. Yeah, so they're not going to get through any armour and do any wounds. The combat
versions are pony.
Yeah, well these ones are.
Skeletal Horsemen are weapon skill and BS2, strength and toughness 3, they have 1 wound each, they are initiative of 2, 1 attack and leadership 5 for 11 points. The Master of Horse.
The horses.
The Master of Horse is +1 attack for an additional 6 points. Obviously, Skeletal Steeds are movement 8, weapon skill 2, strength 3, initiative 2 with 1 attack. These guys are heavy cav.
These are your heavy cav,
but they're still on a 25 by 50. They have hand weapon and shields, and the Skeletal Steed have skeletal hooves. Counts as hand weapons.
At least you now know your Lich Priest and Skeleton Steed can join this unit.
Yeah.
He can join this unit anyway because he can't skirmish.
The entire unit may take cavalry spears in light armour, which if for some reason you take these, you
probably spend 2 points.
They all may take the Master of Horse, the Standard Bearer and the Musician, 6 points. Excuse me, 6 points apiece. Got hiccups. The Master of Horse may purchase magic items.
Stop saying that.
That's what it said. That's what it said.
Doing
right. That's what it said.
The Master of Horse.
A Master of Horse may purchase magic items of a total of 25 points. 0 to 1 unit per army. 0 to 1 unit per 1,000 points may have the counter charge special rule, and may purchase a magic standard.
If you're taking them, I'd take counter charge on them. I say it.
I think probably you do.
But 50 point banner on them. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Someone believes in that Master of Horse.
I'm going to go for reroll charges on them. What are you doing?
So they have Close Order, Nehekhara Undead, Regen 6+, Swift Stride, and Vanguard.
You know what, mate?
You miss out the Horde rule there as well.
They got Horde as well.
3 ranks of 4.
I'll say this right now, right? If he had 50 points, I would take the Master of Horse with a Sword of Monster Slaying and counter charge all day long.
Yeah, mate, can you imagine? Unit champ Master of Horse with it.
But yes,
I will say being a heavy cavalry does limit the amount of rank bonus they get. They usually only get 1. You get Horde though, you get 2 rank bonuses. Take 3.
You have to have models alive to claim rank bonus.
Yeah, well you're 5 arms over 6 of regen, you get models alive.
They are rubbish, guys. I'm sorry.
I've seen people try to use it. Every time I watch them, like it just doesn't work. I've seen them charge as peasants and they just don't do anything.
No, they're rubbish.
They're really bad.
Please leave it on.
They're like chariots without the impact hits. That's the best way to look at them. They are literally chariots without the impact hits.
Chariots but worse.
Yeah.
And we've already given them a glimpse.
At least they have counter charge though.
That is their only redeeming
counter
rule,
charge.
And you have to purchase it for crying out loud.
Right, Skeleton Horse Archers. Exactly the same stat line. We've seen it in and out really. Weapons 2, BS2, sorry, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 5. the Master of Horse. Still called a Master of Horse.
He's back, baby.
It should be a Master of Shooty Horse. He's BS3 instead of BS2. He's plus 6 points. They're exactly the same points as the other ones. But these are light cavalry on the 25 and 50. They exchange their shields for warbows, so hand weapon and warbows, and still the horses have maintained their hoofs, as John said.
Yes.
And they may take light armour for a point, I just wouldn't bother.
No.
They may take a Master of Horse, a standard bearer musician. They can have chariot runners, which
I think it's worth
actually is
taking
good on them.
I think it's worth taking because you're going to be running little units of 5. I think 5 points for the chariot runner. That unit is just never going to be in the way of your chariots charging through.
So
but then obviously it's only if you're taking chariots. If you're not taking chariots, then there's no point.
So I think chariot runners is alright. The fact that it's not limited, every unit can have it, is good. Arrows of the Asaf, Nehekhara Undead, Open Order, Regen 6, Reserve Move, Scout, Skirmish, Swift Stride. I actually think that these are quite competitive.
They're probably the only fast cav, what used to be fast cav units that are still
They basically still behave.
Skirmish
as
is good
well.
because it sort of keeps them sort of twisting and turning and getting shots. But actually, having open order, no, they're not because they're unit strength 2 and only unit strength 1 units are -1.
You're joking,
No. Open order though and reserve move is a strong combination.
Yeah, they've got a Swift Stride as well. There's a lot of stuff going on.
The open order means that they can legitimately change the direction of an enemy unit, which a lot of stuff has lost as an ability that would do this.
So
And
you can
they're
go,
not too expensive.
You can go skirmishes in your first round and then reform into open order next round. Go from
Got a
there.
reserve move as well, which
Got a
is
reserve
nice.
move.
Yeah.
Which you can use if you can't march, if you don't march, but you can't march.
Can't march. So
Yeah,
Yes, you always gonna
actually,
use
it's
it.
really strong because it means that particularly
They
when they're
can
in
technically
skirmish,
march.
they're technically marching and still shooting,
Yeah.
which is really good. So we think these are strong. We think these are well worth having.
Yeah, I
a couple
like
of units
skeleton
of.
horses. I've run 2 or 3, 4 units. So I've run a good chunk, but onto the
I always run a
Knights.
lot anyway.
yeah, onto the Necro Knights, or
Yes.
Necropolis Knights, as they are officially known.
Weapon skill 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm inspired.
Yeah,
You've had your Master of Horse.
Of course, I forgot about that. Sorry, mate. Yeah, go large.
It's all amped up on Master of
I was so
Horse.
excited.
Weapon skill 4, weapon skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds apiece. Initiative 3, they gain a point of initiative over your team guard. 2 attacks per Necropolis Knights. Leadership 8 at 54 points a model. You get your Necropolis Captain, who is the exact same stat line apart from additional attack for additional 7 points. And your Necro Serpents are movement 7, weapon skill 3, strength 5, initiative 3 with 3 attacks as well. Now these guys are Monstrous Cav. They're only minimum unit size of 2+ now.
Nice that.
Necropolis Knights, they come with hand weapons, cavalry spears, light armour and shields. And the Necro Serpent has lashing tails. Counts as a hand weapon. Any unit may take full command at 7 points a model. They may take a magic standard worth up to 50 points. The Necropolis Captain can take a great weapon for 3 points.
That's new.
Random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because my Gore champion, my faux render, or True Hall, I can't remember which one it is, can take a great weapon for free.
Yeah, alright, mate.
Magic items, you can take 25 points magic items on your Necropolis Captain. And they come with Armoured Hide 1, Cleaving Blow on your Necro Knights and Captain only. On the Riders, sorry. The Close Order, Impact Hits 1, Indomitable 1, Khopesh, Nehekhara Undead, Poison Attacks, which is for the Necro Serpent only, Regen 6+, and Swift Stride. I think these are fallen.
They're not
I
as good
think
as
they're
they're not as good as they were, but they're
It's
still
the lack
good.
of AP and their armour's gone down.
I mean, they've got what? Light armour, and they've got a 4 up now instead of a 3 up.
Yep.
That's painful for them.
But they're multiple wound, decent armour in this book, which means they're strong. They
lost their
maintain
halberds,
Swift Stride, which is really huge. They
lost-
never had halberds.
They don't have
No,
that.
they had spears.
always had
Oh, they always
spears.
have spears.
So they've
They've gained attack for the Riders?
no, they had 2 and 3 respectively.
They had 2 and 3 as
Yep.
well.
I used these extensively, didn't I? Their stat line is basically
It's the exact
the
same.
same, except I think it's the same. Except the Serpents used to be initiative 4. They were faster than the Riders from rightly. I might be
Yeah.
mistaken there, but I think they were faster than the
My
Riders.
big issue with these guys is that you usually took them only for the Necro Serpents, but the Necro Serpents have got no AP in it.
The lack of AP on the Serpents
That's
is killer.
very sad.
You got an
Very sad.
impact here.
And the sort of the change from killing blow to cleaving blow is means they're less threatening.
No, they're not. They all the things they could kill in blow in the last game, cleaving blow effects.
Yeah, except it doesn't.
Easy to kill you.
It doesn't insta kill you. It just takes.
No,
away.
it doesn't.
So
anymore,
I think
yeah.
they're less.
But
good.
the thing is, though, is that most stuff that can be, it's only characters.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
It's a big
only
thing.
characters.
Yeah, it's not
But
a
the
huge
flip is-
reduction, but it is a reduction.
But the flip is now though is that Arise respawns an entire snake and one wound on another snake. Whereas back in the
Gives you
day,
level
when you
4,
started to
yeah.
lose them,
Yeah.
when you started to lose them, it was get a single wound back, and they can get a single wound back per turn.
Yeah.
Now you can just respawn those snakes like no
Yeah,
man's business.
I do agree.
They're monstrous
That's
cav,
good.
so
They've
it's
lost the
just
stomp,
wizard
but they've
level.
gained an impact hit. It's just 6-1 half does the other there, really. I just think the killer for them is the lack of AP on the
lack of
snakes now.
AP, yeah.
But they're not that expensive, not really. At 54 points, they're not really that expensive.
No, I think
No.
they're alright. I still think they're alright, the Necro Knights.
I just think they're workable in an army. They'll be useful to you. They're competitive. The Swift Stride's good. The multiple wounds is good. The save's good. They're all right.
I just look at what's really strong in old world, and it's stuff that has natural AP.
Yeah, that they are going to struggle
Yeah.
to deal with the best stuff, and that's why I don't think you're seeing lots of them. Sadly,
Well,
as much as they are
if you hit a
viable.
unit of knights and they've only got 2 attacks apiece, which is a shame.
The
The
cleaving
riders
blow
could-
will scare the
on
knights.
the knights,
Yeah.
you are reliant on
Yeah,
the cleaving blow.
cleaving
blow. They
That's
would
the problem.
Absolutely rinse units of infantry. Ranked
Yeah,
infantry,
but-
they'll rinse, but people aren't taking it. So that's.
I had a unit of 3, charge unit of 3 pigs, and they wiped the pigs to the main. Big sad.
Really?
Yeah, big sad for my pigs.
Oh, yeah, good. Get them pigs out.
Pigs are only war beasts, though.
Send
aren't
them to the abattoir.
Please.
they? So.
Yeah.
Sepulchral
Sepulchral
stalkers.
Because yeah, I actually think they got a buff in this book. I
Okay.
don't.
Movement 7, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 52 points. You can take a unit of these as core or your Tomb Guard, but probably going to take Tomb Guard. 50 by 100s, units 2+ now. Hand weapons, writhing tails, halberds, petrifying gaze, and heavy armour. So 5 up save for these bad boys. 0 to 1 may be ambushers for 2 points a model. They're close order, indomitable 1, Nehekhara undead, regen 6, and a swift stride. So. The Writhing Tails. In combat, the Sepulchral Stalker may make an additional D3 attacks each turn with the Writhing Tail, which is strength 4 -1. I just want to point out, is they called... Oh, Lashing Tails. Sorry,
Yeah,
slight
it's
difference.
different.
So, again, they're going to rinse through low-grade stuff quite well, but
Yeah.
maybe not the toughest stuff around. The Petrifying Gaze is...
They've got okay AP. Their attacks are strength 5, AP 1, armor bane 1, and the Writhing Tail is strength 4 -1, D3 additional attacks.
Yeah,
it's
it's
alright.
alright.
It's better than it was. I never had the Writhing Tail last time.
No.
So that's better.
The Petrifying Gaze is range 18. It is strength 2. It has no. It was got NA for AP. Magical attacks, multiple wounds D3. When rolling to wound for an attack made with this weapon, substitute the target's toughness with its initiative. Armor saves are not permitted. So I actually think that's a lot better because a lot of stuff's initiative came down, and this used to be strength 1. It's now strength 2. And it's multiple wounds D3.
I played another units recently, and the fact it's only 1 shot just means that almost half your shots miss. Whereas previously,
They're forced to hit.
yeah, half your shots are missed at that point.
Yeah.
Previously, it was an artillery dice. I know you took a D for wounds if you rolled a misfire, but artillery dice were the hits.
And it was also strength 1.
yeah,
It just wounded nothing, mate.
It didn't have multiple wounds. I don't know. I
They
think
didn't have the multiple
they're
wounds.
different for what they're good at doing now. I think these are quite scary for some monsters. Not the monsters with characters on the back, but certainly other monsters need to be scared.
Well, most monsters are going to be initiative 3 to 4.
And most,
So most of them are getting...
5s and 6s.
yeah, but
Yeah.
most cavalry, which is really scary.
I think you're wasting the shot because you want to go for the big stuff, which might wins D3.
It depends on what you're playing. It's not a wasted shot if they've not got a big
I
monster.
just
If
think
they don't, no.
once you've got all the stuff in you need to win, you won't have the points for them.
No.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
particularly awful.
No.
I just think they just fall short of beating
There's
into
just stuff that's more essential. or
More
lesser.
essential,
But
yeah.
Skeletal Chariot, so we finally make it to them, ladies and gentlemen. So the Chariot is strength and toughness 4 with 3 wounds apiece. They are 43 points. On there you get 2 skeletal crew and 2 skeletal steeds. The crew are weapon skill 3, BS2, strength 3, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 7. For the Master Charioteer,
Not the Master of Chariot Horse.
sadly not, you get +1 attack for an additional 6 points. And Skeletal Steed obviously is weapon skill 2, movement 8, strength 3, initiative 2, 1 attack.
The unit size 1+.
Yeah, you can have single chariots.
What?
Yeah, make it make sense. They're 43 points apiece. Obviously, light chariots, sorry, which is their biggest crippling prize. Light chariot.
Downside.
They are 5+ armor save. That's it. 50 by 100. The crew have hand weapons, cavalry, spears, and warbows. The warbows is nice, and they've got obviously they can shoot 360 arc of sight on the back of chariot because they have the
Yeah, it's the firing platform, isn't it?
yes, the
Chariot
firing
rules.
platform in chariot rules. Skeletal steeds, skeletal hooves. counts as hand weapons. Any unit may upgrade to any of their command for 6 points apiece. They may have 50 point magic standard, and the Masked Charioteer can take 25 points of magic items. They have Arrows of the Asaph, Dry as Dust, Hold, Impact Hits D3, Nehekhara Undead, Open Order, Regen 6 up, Reserve Move, and Swift Stride. Note that if Masked Charioteer, Standard Bearer, or Musician each replace a single skeletal crewman, and note that each must be placed aboard a different chariot. So if they weren't bad enough, if they get hit by flaming, they are getting the
Dry as
double
dust.
bubble. But they're not flammable.
They're not flammable.
So they do get their regen.
Yeah.
They just.
I'm sorry. I like a ridiculously oversized horde unit as much as the next man does, but taking out a horde of chariots.
Don't forget though, chariots can't claim rank bonus ordinarily, so it's only a second rank. You only need 6 to benefit the horde. But
Yeah, mate, it's they are. I've used them extensively.
The lack
and
of
if they start getting hit by flaming, they just explode.
lack of
AP.
save, lack of toughness, lack of AP.
Lack of good impact hits.
And you know what? 43 points. It's a reduction. They're still too expensive.
Yeah.
35 points for me is where they should be.
Yeah,
same
Over
point,
that, you'd probably see people taking them.
same points as the mounts version of the chariot.
Yeah.
Why are you paying like 7 points for the crew?
For a load of crew that do nothing.
Do nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Cheers,
afraid.
mate.
Sorry, they're just not great.
Get 'em out
the
of
reserve
here.
move, I think, is alright, so you can move them up, do a bit of shooting, move them back, and then hopefully get a counter charge for your Swift Stride, and hope that they haven't got much of a save, got much toughness.
Yeah, but we're getting into the meaty stuff.
Now we're getting to the big
Hope you're
stuff.
charging an elf.
You just have
They're
to rely.
really good against
The
elves.
thing is, you have to just rely on your opponents rolling bad. I played a Brett player with it when I charged a block of 3 into a unit of Knights Errant and killed like 4 on impact hits
Big Sally's taking Knights
because he rolled bad. You know, but see, all they've got to do is just roll average, and they just don't really do anything.
No, there you go.
But
Moving on then to
Yeah.
the new kid on
into
the block.
real meat on the bones, if you could say.
There's no meat on these bones.
Exactly, baby.
Them bones, them
Dry
dry
bones. The Necrolith Bone Dragon, which is the big new dragon kit, you could say.
Or Necrolith Bone Crocodile.
If you want to be yourself, yeah. Right, the Necrolith Bone Dragon is a monster. It's the first of our monsters. It is movement 6, weapon skill 4, strength 6, +1 toughness to its rider, +5 wounds to its rider, initiative 2, 5 attacks at 195 points.
Well,
Quite
good, mate.
cheap.
Well good for
It's
it.
sub
it's
200.
insanely cheap.
Yeah.
For what it's
Strength
worth.
6, 5 an additional with 5 attacks, an additional 5 wounds. And
weapon skill 4 as well. Weapon skill 4 is really good. It's Behemoth.
mate.
It's unit size 1, naturally. It has Wicked Claws, the Breath of Desiccation, and Draconic Bones, which counts as full plate, which is a bit of a downside these days for what it used to be.
It was until their most recent FAQ.
Yeah, the FAQs hit that.
Special rules: Close Order, Cloud of Dust, Dry as Dust, Fly 9, Indomitable 2, Large Target, Nehekhara Undead, Stomp Attacks D6, Swift Stride, and Terror. Cloud of Dust is any enemy units that target small during the shooting phase suffers an additional -1 to hit modifier. I have never seen that rule come into play at
No
all.
one shoots it, mate.
No one shoots with conventional shooting.
No.
And then its combat is, its equipment, Wicked Claws, is Strength user, -2 to your AP, which is standard for all dragons.
Yeah, it's just sick, mate.
And Breath of Desiccation is a breath weapon, it is Strength 3, -2 to your save, magical attacks, and multiple wounds 2.
It's really good if it hits.
Breath weapons are better.
Yeah, breath
Yeah.
weapons are poor now.
It's got the potential to be absolutely devastating.
Genuinely think they should have just allowed you to march and shoot them. Would have made them like usable, but because they don't, I'm never going to not march. I'm never going to be standing around in the field waiting to get my big hard monster that wins me the game in. I want him in.
And the Necrolith Bone Dragon may only be included in your army as a character's mount. Its points added to that of its rider. Where your riders are going to be your Tomb Kings and your Lich High Priests.
Yeah.
Or Lich Priests.
And it's really dirty. That's the bottom line.
You see a key on it. It's toughness 6, 9 wounds with a 4 up, 5 up save. Base.
4 up, 5 up, 5 up.
But
You
you
can get
if
easy.
you-
it's
if
got
you
4
take-
armor, 5 up regen as base. That's
Yeah.
without any upgrades.
There's
Yeah.
loads of good stuff you can get on it.
And to
There's
be honest,
loads
I've
of good
seen
stuff.
people just not take the auto, just keep it as the regen. I've seen people do that.
I think if you're not taking the Armory Ages, you probably are taking a
We'll take now, yeah. I think that when Armored Ages was the thing, so basically Armored Ages we'll get to in a minute, but we actually, I think to make the next 2 monsters make a bit of sense, it's a light armour and enemies must reroll 6s to wound against
That's
them.
right.
No,
All
reroll
success.
all
All
successful
successful
wounds,
wounds,
mate.
apologies.
It's just because, we got wounded on a 6.
Yeah, because the Bone Dragon's really tough.
Yeah.
It doesn't get wounded very much, and so you then re-rolling the successful wounds. It's really difficult to get them out, particularly with things like Monster Slayer, which is the real hard counter that we're seeing a lot of at the moment against them. So that was really strong, but when they FAQ'd it to say that you must use the best armour, which is
subjective
to what you mean, but what we're saying is, most people are saying you've got to use the 4+ full plate armour of the Bone Dragon, which means that you then cannot claim the re-roll ability from the light armour that the King's wearing. The reason I've bothered to mention that now is because when we talk about the next monster, I'm going to bring it back up again.
Yeah.
A lot of people are desperately trying to argue you still get the Armour of the Ages bonus, because technically you get the Armour of the Age before you take your save.
Yeah, there's loads of problems around that.
You know,
there's loads of problems around the way that the thing's been worded, and
we
again,
could go over this a lot.
clearing up wording is a big problem for the game. Sorry, I'll say it's a big problem for the game.
It's the truth.
The wording is unclear and inconsistent, and the FAQs at the moment are not necessarily helping. They're making the wording less clear. So.
Also, regardless of FAQs and regardless of the equipment, a Tomb King or a Lich High Priest on the Bone Dragon is still probably your top competitive.
100%. Yeah,
the
they
command
are
range goes to 18 inches, so when you start talking about spells on your wizards, 18-inch range, really good.
For reroll ones.
Yeah, when there's stuff that we'll get to later,
yep.
And having an 18-inch command range is massive.
Honestly, they're not the top tier dragons, but they are close to the top tier dragons.
I would suggest they're just below the very
best
dragons.
They're
below the Chaos Dragon and the Star Dragon. I think then
once you get past those ones, then you're at the Bone Dragon.
I agree. Yeah, because the Rider's pretty meaty as well.
They're comfortably third place.
They are a third place dragon choice.
There's an argument to say they're better than the Elf Dragons because the Rider is better.
The Elf Dragon is better though.
The Elf Dragon is better, but the Rider's better, so they probably sit about akin.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Raw stat line, I think a Tomb King's better than an Elf. Less weapon skill, less initiative, better strength, better toughness, same attacks.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But
when they're on the dragon, there's not much in it.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they're probably
toughness 6.
That's why I'm saying they're probably about the same. Because most builds are going to be the same.
I probably agree with John. They are very close to being equal.
I don't know.
With the Armour of the Ages, they were comfortably the second best monster in the game. Comfortably.
So I don't know. I don't know if a 2 up, 5 up Star Dragon is better.
I ran one for 5 games and he died once.
Because he got lucky.
Monsoir Cropper rolled a 6 and then re-rolled it and rolled a 6.
Yeah.
The only time he died. Outside of that, he took 2 wounds across every round. He took 2 wounds across he crumbled and stuff, but actually physically taking wounds from attacks, he took 2 wounds across the entire weekend.
Yeah. I mean, to be frank,
outrageous.
He's a very good choice. What we're
sure,
saying.
For sure.
The fact we're debating the quality of the dragon against the other dragons that are dominating the meta tells you something. And I would argue that he is in a better overall list than the Elf Dragon.
Yes.
I think the Elf Dragon's list, for me, is a bit disappointing. The dragons are great, the access to them is brilliant, and you can dominate tables like that. But
once you get past the dragon,
I think the army list is a lot less exciting.
When we get to the Scorpions,
this has got a lot more. Yeah, this has got a lot more funky stuff in it. Even stuff we've already talked about, things like the Ushapti and the Carrion and things. You've got lots of really cool options on. So, big fan of these. Khemri and War Sphinx. I'm going to jump in on John here because. So look, these are super disappointing in a way because they're movement 6, they're weapon skill 4, strength 5, toughness 6, 5 wounds, 1 initiative, 4 attacks, 175. So when I compare them to the Bone Dragon,
it's 20 points.
It's 20 points cheaper, and I've already lost a point of strength, and I've already lost a point of initiative and an attack, which feels rough.
Not to go on about the idea that you also lost 2 points of toughness from 8th edition as well. You've gone down very low toughness.
I do get 2 Tomb Guard crew, which are weapon skill 3, initiative 3. Randomly, they're better on here than they are regularly. 1 attack, strength 4. They do maintain some good special rules as well. Randomly, they've now got short bows, which is nice. They've got cavalry spears and hand weapons. And the Khemri Sphinx has got wicked claws, which is good. He's also a behemoth, which is really good for his stomp. He's got an armour save of 5+, and that's important, right? Yeah. So, you can take these as a special choice, just like you could in earlier sets of rules. So they may have up to 2 additional crew, because they only come with 2 crew now.
So you take
for
the
10
the
points.
model came with 4?
Each, the model comes with 4.
Yeah.
But the fact it's 10 points each means that there are 195 with 4
so
crew.
That's the same points as the Bone Dragon.
Which feels a bit harsh. And they may take an Envenom Sting for 5 points, we'll get to that in a minute, and a Fiery Roar for 20. That used to be auto-include, it's now probably leave it at home.
It's too costly.
Arrows of the Asaph for the crew, so they're going to hit on 4s, so they're BS3. Cleaving Blow for the crew, so we know that's decent. Close Order, Howder gives them 360 arc. Indomitable 2
Very nice.
is good. Kapesh for the crew. Large target. Nehekhara Undead. Regen 6. And finally, Stomp Attacks D3 and Terror. So, Wicked Claws, Strength 5 -2. Envenom Sting is you may choose to make one of your attacks with this weapon, so it's usable because it's choice. It goes with Strikes First and Poison at Strength 5, but it has no AP, so I think it's probably not worth 5 points.
I think it's, if you've got the spare 5 points, it's worth it for if something charges you
With like
and it's on one wound left, and you go, well, I've got that one Strike First attack, and see if you can whip it in and hit them for the poison. I think it's 5 points. If you've got it spare, chuck it on there. If you haven't, then don't.
So the Fiery Roar is Strength 4 -1, which is good. It's a breath weapon. It's flaming. We've just talked about breath weapons.
It's a breath weapon, mate.
So
we've gone about breath weapons.
There's no issue to be able to not be able to shoot after you're marching because this thing can't march.
Well, even then, yeah. I mean, it can't march, which is another lock back on the Bone Dragon, and they're very similar points. So it looks on face value like it's really not worth taking as a mount, and to be honest, in terms of a monster, it's relatively underwhelming even in the special choice.
A monster by itself, I probably wouldn't.
Strength 5 -2 with 4 attacks, weapon skill 4. It's not terrible. If the king's on the back and you can get to weapon skill 5.
I just think that toughness is too low for the things that are going to be in the game at the moment.
I just think the flying ones, which we're going to get to in a minute, I'd have 2 of those because they're better at killing stuff than this one is. Yeah. And then I'd look at this one and go, have I got points for it? I probably haven't. But
also lost its fun to crush.
Yeah.
It's lost
loads of flavour, to be honest.
A lot of the stuff that made it cool.
So look, it can be a character mount. Now,
having to purchase the addition of 2 crew feels a bit...
Yeah, it can be a character mount, which is a bit weird. But it has Howdah, which the character joins the crew this time. So the War Sphinx is considered to be a chariot mount rather than a ridden monster. But it does have the behemoth unit type. So there's been lots of arguing over this. So we've ruled it to say that if you put him on there, he's still a monster, so he can still be monster slain. He's not a chariot.
I don't think... I think the intention is that it's a chariot mount for the purposes of you don't displace crew.
Yeah.
I think that's what it means by chariot mount. I think that's the intention, which that's where we
I just think that...
But I think the wording is pretty clear. Khemri War Sphinx is considered to be a chariot mount.
Rather than a ridden monster.
Yeah, so it's not a monster.
So does it lose its behemoth then? Does it lose its ability? Does it stomp if you put a character on it? Does it stomp no longer go -2?
A chariot.
Well, that's the question.
So we've said it doesn't. We've said it stays as a ridden monster.
I think the intention is because is so that you don't displace the crew.
The thing here is that what they should have done is what they've done with lots of other monsters like this, and just put a separate stat line at the bottom of the page. That is when you take them as a mount stat line.
Yeah, they've just intentionally made it more difficult.
But it is worth saying that if you take it as a mount, it still gives you +5 wounds, like the Bone Dragon does, and it still makes you toughness 6 because you use the highest toughness.
Yep.
So you retain
the stat line.
You still got toughness 6 with 9 wounds, the same as the Bone Dragon. You are less strong. You do have less attacks. You don't fly. You aren't -1 to hit.
And you have less of a stomp.
And you've got less of a stomp. So that is all really not good. But since the FAQ came out, there is now a reason to take this because the armor of the ages
you a 5-minute time limit.
Is light armor, and I can take a shield on that Tomb King, and now my best armor save is a 5+. The same for both, which means I can trigger the reroll 6s on this, the reroll wounds on this bad boy, and suddenly he is
now
potentially harder to kill than the Bone Dragon.
He's certainly now. You're and you get the 4 crew as well, which again, if you get them, I will be done though. There goes a weapon skill 4. Their strength 5 with the cavalry spears. They've got cleaving blow.
I think the big argument here with them, I will be done, is the +D3 move.
Yeah, give movement 9 goes
and get up to movement
9, and he gets in there and he mixes it. And you're throwing a lot of dice, and as much as the stats are only alright.
You looked at it first, and there was the conversation of, well, he's takeable because he becomes a chariot, and then we were like, no, he's not. And so people basically just like, well, you're never going to take him over a Bone Dragon. And to be honest, you weren't ever going to. No. But with the change to the FAQ, he is now well takeable.
He's more takeable, and he's on a smaller base.
Because of that item.
Yeah, but that would be taking him to take that item.
He's on a smaller item. He can get into combats easier. Less people are attacking. Well, that doesn't matter, does it?
Well, less people get multiple attacks on it.
Yeah, he can get through gaps. He can get into gaps. Things like that.
So look, I mean, he's probably still not quite as good as a Bone Dragon, but in terms of survivability, I wouldn't be surprised if we played a few games. If you played a few games with both and found that he doesn't give away as many his victory points as often.
Yeah.
So I think there's some positives for him now, which maybe weren't there before that FAQ, which is a good thing. And good luck modelling the king on there with 4 crew. I'm looking forward to seeing some really exciting crew riding the neck of the Sphinx and limping off his
Duff
tail.
said to me about it. He was like, I want to try and model it so that they're like rappelling down the side of it, 2 of the crew on each side. That'd be sick.
So good.
That'd look well good.
Skeletal wear service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate. Yes, I guess.
Yes, yes.
And now we are
Go
going
on,
to
you get
the damn right I'm taking this one,
you
mate.
get the joys, mate.
This is possibly pound for pound the best generic monster in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
in the
even
game.
think it's a
I'm not
debate.
even talking about the book. I'm talking about the game.
I don't even think it's a debate.
Tomb Scorpions, movement 7, massive movement, weapon skill 4, strength and toughness 5, 3 wounds, 3 initiative 3, 4 attacks apiece, leadership 8, 70 points.
That's the cheap.
70 points. They are monstrous. They are unit size 1, decapitating claws, envenom sting, and bone carapace. They may ambush for 5 points, which they absolutely will, because ambush is much better in this game. They have close order, indomitable 1, magic res -1, Nakaran undead, regen 6 up, D3 stomps, swift stride, and vanguard.
Swift stride.
Yeah, mate.
Swift stride.
Movement
big
7 with swift stride with ambush.
And do you know what though? You
Right.
say that they would always ambush, but with Vanguard,
Vanguard, they maybe
maybe
not.
they not.
Maybe they don't.
No.
because
Who
they
knows?
move 7 before the start of the game, and they're putting into.
I think you'd ambush them if you have the what was it, the scarab brooch.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get to that.
There's
It's
good
stuff.
options there.
Now, the envenom sting.
You say it for last
In
though.
combat, this model may choose to make one of its attacks with this weapon. Obviously, we spoke about it with the Khemri and War Sphinxes. It's 1 attack at strength of user, poison attack strikes.
You were
first.
never going to use this thing.
It's very, 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 very situational. They get it for free, so it's alright. But we're going to get on to the real sauce now. It's decapitating claws, strength of user, AP -2, killing blow monster slayer.
It's just outrageous.
If they're not a chariot, if you roll a 6,
it's dead.
if they fail their wall save, they're dead.
The only thing in the game that has that combination, apart from this, is the Gorgon, and you get 3 of these for the price of 1 Gorgon.
Yep,
Yes.
and I've like,
And they're special, not rare.
They're special, not rare. If there's no cap, you can take 6 at 2,000 points. I genuinely, I'm like, if with the cap is the only reason why you don't see them.
They are
outrageous. Everything they play, they always roll a 6, mate. I don't know why it is. They always roll
I've
a
got to
6.
say this.
Every game I've played with them, I've charged them into a monster.
Yeah, this is your
Yeah.
6 charge.
Every game I've played with them, every monster they hit, they roll a 6.
I did have.
They kill 3 Gorgons against Jack. Is it 2 Gorgons you can take?
Yeah, 2.
2, yeah.
Yeah, kill both Jack's Gorgons. They also they're ridiculous, mate. Obviously now Jack did kill him by my thinking,
yeah.
so it cuts both ways. But it was like they're ludicrous.
I had a
7
game
points.
last week, and when I was playing 2 Kings, I had a Gorgon squaring off against Tomb Scorpion. And I was too far away. I was like, okay, if I move a little bit, you're just going to charge me, you get +3 initiative, and you're going to kill me anyway. So I'm 14 inches, up in his face, an inch away, we're going the same initiative. And we both killed each other. We both we both just monster slayed each other.
They are outrageous, mate. There is nothing
They
in
are-
the game there is nothing in the game that can't be scared of them. Because even I charged in my first game, I charged a unit of 6 Ushakti in the flank with 1, and after course about 3 rounds, wiped the whole unit.
Yeah.
Because the 6, that's a dead model, mate.
They're brutal.
Like,
And
they're so good.
It's the
They're
cheapness
so,
of it. It's the-
75 points with the
And
ambush.
what if you don't take the ambush? 70 points.
Yeah.
210 points to 3.
Ludicrous.
they're stupidly cheap.
Rabbit
They're
to neck.
really
Star
dangerous.
Fast Furious franchise, mate.
And,
They're outrageous.
If we just
honestly.
think back to the Chimera,
Please, what are you doing?
Like-
Why did you do this?
He's man,
Why did you do
He's
this?
I was
upset.
just saying, if we think back to like some of the other monsters in the game, they are brutal. And the fact that most of the time, like a lot of monsters have lost AP, these guys are still -2.
Yeah.
They're-
Also, that
they're
strength
scary.
5. The strength 5 does not make a blind bit difference because you're fishing.
You're
for
fishing
six.
for 6s.
Unless you're
You
fighting
are.
infantry.
Which a lot of infantry
You
you're
stomp,
hitting
you
on.
stomp,
You stomp,
strength
you
5,
stomp.
A lot of
direct
infantry you're still freezing 2s on anyway.
But
because
you know,
most of
your
the time it's
stomp,
free.
you should be doing a stomp, you should be dead.
Yeah, but it's just good, mate. It's just worth having.
They're scary.
4 attacks!
Scary for characters.
Yeah, the
scary
4
for
attacks
monsters.
as well, mate.
Weapon skill 4, very good. Weapon skill, monsters, weapon skill 3.
There ain't nothing. There ain't nothing that doesn't look at a scorpion and isn't scared. There is nothing in the game that he looks at a scorpion and is like, yeah, whatever, mate.
These chariots, like character mounted chariots.
Yeah,
That's about it.
yeah, which again is basically beastmen or other Tomb Kings.
Warriors.
And if I suppose warriors. If Tomb Kings are taking their
Or the Water of Sigmar.
for the Lector.
No,
for the Lector.
The Arch-Lector.
For the Lector.
You pulled that upon
You on
yourself. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, best
Take
monster.
3.
I genuinely think they're the best monsters.
If you've got no caps, take 6.
Yep. Take
If you're playing 3,000, take 9.
Take 9. Take as many as you can.
Take as many as you can. They will never.
Ignore
let you
your
down.
core. Fill out your Tomb Scorpions, then go back to core.
They just don't. They don't miss.
No, they're very
they just don't miss.
Fill don't miss.
And when you get them re-rolling ones, they're insane.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna go down a little bit. We're gonna go to the Necrolyth Colossus. It's movement 6, weapon skill 3, weapon skill 2, strength 6, toughness 6, 5 wounds, initiative 1, 4 attacks, leech bait 160 points. They're behemoths, which is very good. They're on 50 by 50. They come with paired great Kopeshes and heavy armor. They have close order, indomitable 2, large target, Nehekhara and undead, region 6+, stomp attacks D3, terror, timber, unstoppable assault as well. So unstoppable assault is during the combat phase of any turn in which this model charged, every attack it makes that causes an unsaved wound allows it to immediately make 1 additional attack. These additional attacks also benefit from the special rule. Know that any unsaved wounds caused by stomp attacks D3 special rule do not benefit from this rule. Just keep stomping.
I like you should.
And it's paired great Kopeshes, which are actually pretty terrifying. Strength user, strength 6, -2, killing blow.
Yeah. I've used one.
Requires 2.
Requires 2 hands, sorry. Paired great weapon. Paired great
But
Kopeshes.
paired weapons that don't give me an extra attack. Disappointing.
The crucial part of these
It's
guys.
too slow.
The movement 6 is just too slow. It really is. When you start to get into it, it's too slow. The weapon skill 3 is the worst part of them.
Yeah.
Everything else on paper, fantastic. When you get there, if you don't hit with those attacks, if you've not got someone in range that lets them re-roll those ones, if they've got a decent weapon skill, you're just going to do nothing. I've had it where I've done 3 wounds and then you're unstoppable assault, another 3 attacks, won it.
Yeah.
It's the weapon skill 3 is actually you can get past the movement. It's the weapon skill 3 that's the worst part for these guys.
There's not a lot of ways to bring down the weapon skill in this game.
There's really not, and all you can do is get yourself re-roll ones.
Fear doesn't bring their weapon skill. It just makes your opponent -1 to it.
Yeah, fear is actually worse, which is bonkers because it wasn't.
If they failed their fear test and went to weapon skill 1, and all of a sudden you'd be getting them on 2s, they'd be devastated. Yeah. Even if you had hit them on 3s, you can get the re-roll 1s in. It's really good. The problem is they've just taken too much of that away. They've changed too much. Like again, in the last edition, you could have a Necrolyth Colossus. You can get him weapon skill 10. You can get him ASF. You can get him all the extra attacks, and you can have him just rip a unit apart because you're re-rolling all your hits and you're winning on 2s. But you just don't really get that anymore.
Yeah, well, they don't want that, do they? The game design is around not having as much of that, which is fine. But I think he just feels too expensive as well at 160.
When you compare it to Tomb Scorpion.
Look, we can't benchmark against Tomb Scorpion.
Oh, no, sorry.
Let's discuss the best monster in the game.
Let's benchmark him against the Necrosphinx, which is the next choice in
he's 30 points less than the Necrosphinx.
Yes, and I think you pay for the Necrosphinx. Also, this guy is mewing.
He is mewing, mate. Bro, he's been,
Look how regal he is.
Mogging the opponent.
Sorry, 140, page 146. Look at the Necrosphinx. Look how glorious.
That's great artwork, that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, again, I don't really understand why the Necrosphinx is weapon skill 4 and the Bone Giant's only weapon skill 3. It feels like they really just wanted you to take the Necrosphinx.
All war statuary is weapon skill 4 though, isn't it?
Yeah, but so a Bone Giant is kind of war statuary.
Except for the Serpents.
Serpents skill 3.
Even though they're statuary, but I'm not going to get into that. So the Necrosphinx is a beast now. He's really gone from 0 to hero.
The power from Necrosphinx and to War Sphinx and Necrosphinx has gone like that.
Yeah, people.
It's almost like the things that were good, you don't want to buy them, or the things you bad that you didn't have anything of, you have to buy them.
That's exactly what it is.
Maybe some of that.
Maybe.
Jokes on you, I had like 5 Sphinxes already.
Props to you, marketing department.
So movement 6, but you're going to use its fly 9, which is absolutely amazing because that goes 18 because it can march, which is one of the only things that can march. Anything that flies is so much stronger in this book than ever before. Weapon skill 4, strength 5. Strength 5 is the only thing I'm a bit disappointed with. Toughness
Skill 4 is
6,
really good for a monster.
6 wounds, initiative 1, I don't care, he's charging all the time, he's initiative 4. Attacks 5, spicy,
Yeah.
leadership 8, 195. He's got cleaving blades, which we'll get to in a minute, he's got decapitating strike and heavy armour, so he's T6 with a 5 up save. He may take an envenom sting for 5 points. If you've got it, it's worth having because it's extra. It's an extra attack, so you might as well have it. Is it an extra?
It's not an extra attack. It's you may use.
No,
worse.
it's one of his attacks.
It's
Sorry.
instead of one of your
Yeah,
attacks.
sorry,
I
it's
genuinely think
decapitating
you don't ever take it on him.
So he's Indomitable 2, he's close order, I said he flies 9. He's a large target, he's Nehekhara undead, he regens 5+, which is really strong. He has D3 plus 2 stomps, which is absolute insanity.
And a behemoth as well.
Yeah, at -2. He's Swift Stride and Terror. He is a machine compared to the last monster, and so much better than the other Sphinx.
No, I've just realised this next rule. I've never seen anyone actually use it. I didn't realise it was a thing.
No.
I always forget it exists.
Soul Reaper.
What is this?
After deployment, I just want to point out, Soul Reaper's not a special rule for him.
it's
It's not in the
there.
special rule list.
That's why I
Soul
forget
Reaper,
it, to be
after
honest.
deployment, but before the first turn begins, nominate a single enemy character. The soul marked by the Necrosphinx to journey into the underworld at the battle's end. They reroll any rolls to hit of a 1 against the nominated character.
That's character.
Natural ones.
So you're going to be picking the dragon character.
That's
Dragon
why,
character.
yeah. I mean, it's basically Jasp's Blades built in. It's worth having.
So
you know,
But I've never seen anyone remember
but
this
everyone
role.
forgets about
No,
it, mate.
his cleaving blades are strength 5 -1. Only -1, but they are killing blow. Spicy. His decapitating strike, it makes an additional attack with this.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
the
gets
good one.
5 with the blades and then 1 with the decapitating strike. This is strength 10. -4, killing blow, monster slayer, strikes last. Oh no, I'm initiative 1 anyway. So it makes no
So one additional
difference.
attack at strength at the killing blow monster slayer, but even if you don't roll the killing
Re-roll
blow
it
at monster slayer, it's still
Strength 10 -4.
Stinks 10 -4.
The amount of monster slayer and killing blow you can get like combined together, you can get
In Tomb Kings is
And
much
this is
more
it.
than
It's
most
three.
armies.
It's 3 scorpions, 2 necrosphinxes,
dragon.
and then or 2 dragons.
Or 2 dragons.
And what you've got there is an army that is really meta. It's really tough, really
About
difficult to
5
deal
months
with.
ago, that was the army.
And I
It's
think
mostly
it's,
toughness
I think it
6.
still is. I think the reason you're not seeing it is because people have pouted over the changes
Armor
to the
Rages.
Armor of Ages
I
and
think-
stopped taking it,
Yeah.
rather than
The
it
King
not
of the
being
Dragon
good.
is still stacked.
I don't think it's changed in its competitiveness.
No, it isn't, no.
I
The
just
Armor
think
of
people
Ages
have
is
stopped
super
taking it at the moment.
expensive. So the thing is, when you take away that super cost of the Armor of
You
Ages,
get loads of other options.
you get loads of other stuff back. You can still just run the generic character mount of Ogre Blade 5 up wall save.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're still a monster.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
I've also thought about the 70-point 4-up wall save armor,
I
and
saw-
just giving him a great weapon.
I saw someone use a Shroud of Eternities last weekend with it as well.
Yeah.
That one hit a Keeper of Secrets.
So
Christ. We'll get to that.
He did one save. He's got six automatic hits. And went, "Rah!"
overall, this guy is an absolute bad boy now. He's definitely
195 points.
2+ for me.
I don't think you're taking the Venom Sting. I wouldn't
No.
bother.
No point.
I wouldn't. But
Save the points.
very, very strong.
Take the mewing Necrosphinx.
Right, so from 0 to 0 then, who's doing it?
Bro is nogging the opponent.
Do you want me to take this so you can take the casket?
I don't mind. Yeah, go on. You take the Screaming Skull and I'll talk about the casket.
I've got to take the absolute. I remember when me and you first played a game with one, we used 2 of these, and we found out how
We
disappointing.
instantly found out how disappointed they were. My day was ruined. and then we finished that day, and I had a chronic migraine, and I had to go home and go to sleep.
You
I was
had-
so angry.
You had 2, and he was behind 2 as one of the units. He went, I was like, John, does it have line of sight? And I was like, oh no, it doesn't have line of
So
sight.
the same as most. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
because-
so the Screaming Skull Catapult. It is a catapult. It's toughness 6, 3 wounds, 105 points. It's gone up in points? Or
Yeah.
gone down?
No,
How many points was it?
This was 90.
It went up.
The Skeleton Crew, you have 3 of these, well, technically 3 of these. Movement 4, Weak Skill 2, Skill 2, Strength 3, Toughness 3, 3 wounds, Initiative 2, 3 attacks, Leisure 5.
Yeah.
You are War Machine, you're on a 60 by 100mm base, and equipment you come with the Screaming Skull Catapult, a hammer with light armour. You may pay 20 points for Skulls of the Foe. Then your special rules wise, you have Dryas Dust, Indomitable.
dust as well. It gets worse.
Yes, well,
Indomitable 1, Nehekhara Undead, Regen 6+, and Skirmishers.
they don't have Kapeshis. They don't have the Kapesh special.
But they're just skeleton warriors.
They're just I wouldn't
The
give,
crew,
I wouldn't
the
give
crew
them a
should
Kapesh.
have it, right?
Why
They
would you
should
waste
have it.
Kapesh
I'll
on?
give them a Kapesh.
They need all the help they can get.
They get a stick, mate.
They need all the help they can
They
get.
get a stick.
I'd argue that's that big old stick that guy's cranking that with. It should be -1. Right? You get beat with that, mate. That's a great weapon. I'd argue.
I want to point out that
Sticks
you
the size
think,
of him.
you think that should have the same armor piercing value as the blades that are twice the size of a man on a Necrosphinx.
Yep.
They're only AP1.
Screaming Skull Catapult itself is range 12 to 60 inches. It's strength 4 on the blast, strength 8 under the hull, -1 on the blast, -3 under the hull. Bombardment, cumbersome, flaming attacks, magical attacks, move or shoots, multiple wounds D3+1, and Screaming Skulls. It shoots like a stone throw using bombardment with a 3-inch blast template. The multiple wounds under the hull, as all other stone throws are.
It's not large target.
It's not large target,
Which
which
partial
And
hits.
that's
so.
and it's not large target.
Hold
it's
fast! Hold fast, John!
I will not.
Hold fast! Screaming Skull special rules. It has Screaming Skulls. Any unit that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from this weapon must take a panic test as if it had taken heavy casualties.
That's okay.
It's, yeah.
Well, because it's as if you've taken heavy casualties, so if they take 1 wound, they can fully flee.
I think
No,
because
I think
No, if they're over half strength.
heavy casualties is just the rule for taking the panic test
Yeah,
after taking the tune.
If they're over half strength, they
Well,
will
it's
automatically rally
Yeah.
when they fall
It's
back.
fall back in good
They'll fall
order.
back in good order.
And then if you pay for Skulls of the Foe, until your next start turn phase, sub-phase, enemy units that was within 2d6 inches of the central hull of the blast template after scattering it suffers -1 modifier to its leash characteristics to a minimum of 2.
That's actually okay.
Right, we talked about we joked about how bad these were. I think
But again, the
these
problem
aren't.
Again, it's anyone within 2d6 of the central hull,
Random,
so you could roll a 2-inch range.
Yeah.
Could roll a 4-inch range. Like it's just
I will say
125 points for that.
we joked about how these are
yeah,
bad. I don't think these are the worst stone throwers.
They're not, but they are
They're
expensive.
not the worst stone
They're
thrower, but
expensive.
125
But
points.
they have flaming attacks, magical attacks. So anything that's got flammable or dwarf monsters not getting a save. Demons don't get a save against this thing.
Yeah, but you got to hit it.
You have.
You have got, but if you're shooting the stuff at which you want to be shooting, like the great
Great
demons,
demons.
you can see them.
It's D3+1 wounds as well, I suppose.
Which I think that's where you probably target is the big monsters rather than the units these days.
Yeah, you know, it's... There's much more things I'd be taking instead.
I'm not defending this thing.
Good.
I'm not defending this thing. I'm just saying that what you're looking to target is the big
As
stuff.
artillery goes, it's decent.
It's
It's decent for
Yeah, sadly,
artillery.
just artillery.
It's
isn't
just quite expensive.
I just
and I
think
think once you've fitted other stuff in,
I think you always just
Talk
find
about
that these
waste
things
like
just don't hit the units.
they
because
don't do it when you need it. I
No.
always think.
Yeah.
Strength 4 and a blast is very good as well.
Yeah, that's alright.
It's on paper got lots
It's
of good
just
stuff,
alright.
but it's doing it when you need it. Don't forget, a third of the time it's always going to miss.
On the
Like,
blast,
always
on,
gonna
on,
scatter.
on the
Blast.
blast, yeah, and then then the stuff
two-thirds
on the
of the
blast.
That's what I'm saying. I think it should just be targeting monsters,
Yeah.
like lone large target
Yeah,
monsters.
and basically everything on the blast is going to be partials because everything's
Yeah.
at its base size increased.
Yeah.
It's just rubbish. Casket
Anyway.
Souls.
I think it's the last unit.
This is
last
the last
unit.
unit, yeah. So in my opinion, people tell me not, but in my opinion, this has had a massive nerf from 8th edition. When I first saw this, I was like, oh mate, it's like one of the best things in the book. You're going to want to take 2. They are so scary, they're so good, but we'll get into it in a bit. So they're now toughness 6, weapons with 4 wounds at 135 points. So they lost 4 points of toughness. You know,
Keep going away.
nice. Going to win, no? Solid. The Casket Guardians are weapon skill 3, BS 3, strength and toughness 3, 4. The Casket Guardians are apparently 4 wounds, so you could shoot 3 wounds off of it at range and then get into combat and have to do a further 4 wounds
Yes.
to kill it.
Yes.
Which is nice. They're initiative 3 with 4 attacks at leadership 8. Now the nice thing is that the Casket Guardians are combined at this point. They're not like it used to be where you had the 2 on the front and the wizard.
The guy that's screaming at the back is a Casket Guardian.
Yeah, he's now a Casket Guardian. So they have hand weapons, great weapons, and light armour. So you got 4
Okay.
attacks with great weapons, got light armour. They have the Cleave and Blow, Covenant of Power, Dry as Dust, Immovable Objects, Indomitable 2, Nehekhara Undead, Regen 5, Skirmishers, Unbound Spirits, and Vortex of
Now
Soul.
this is one unit that should have Kopeshes.
And they don't. But they got great weapons, so it doesn't matter. Covenant of Power, whilst within 12 inches of Casket of Souls, there's 135 points as well. Sorry, let me add. The Covenant of Power, whilst within 12 inches of Casket of Souls, friendly leashes may apply +1 modifier to any casting rolls they make. Additionally, any model, friend or foe that casts a bound spell whilst within 12 of the casket also gets a +1 to cast. Which is nice for the bound spell, +1 to cast on it. However,
apply
no,
to
it
its
doesn't
own
apply to its
bound
own
spell.
bound spells.
Which yeah, if he did, then it'd be really good.
I do think though, anything that adds to your casting values in this
It
game
is good.
is strong.
It is good.
So
But
I do.
I think it's too many points for just adding to +1 to cast value because most of the time all it's doing is giving you +1 to cast.
I
it
don't know.
is.
I don't hate it. I don't hate
We'll
it.
get into that, but it is. Removable objects. Once a casket of soul has been placed on the battlefield during deployment, it cannot be moved by its crew during the remaining move sub phase. but it can point freely to attack. So it can pivot, but it can't move.
I'm not sure that it matters though, because it doesn't have a base. It's one of the only ones that doesn't have a base still.
Yeah.
And it's got 360 vision because it's a skirmisher anyway. So.
Yeah.
Is it skirmisher? Doesn't it go for all?
Oh, yeah.
Regen 5 plus skirmishers.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
Unbound Spirits. If the crew of a Casket of Souls is reduced to 0 wounds, immediately roll a d6 for every unit, friend or foe, within 12 of the model. On a 4+, the unit suffers d6 strength 3 hits with no armour or regen saves permitted. Once these wounds are resolved, the Casket is removed from play.
Big save, lost strength from that.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as it used to be.
I mean, it ignores armour and regions.
I
I think it should have been kept at like strength 4 or maybe 5.
It was like strength 6.
It was strength 6.
Yeah, which didn't ignore armour, did it?
But minus 3 basically ignored all the Tomb King's armour. Vortex of Souls. The Casket of Souls has the following bound spells with a power level of 3. Light of Death. Magic Missile, casting range of cast value 7+, range 36. Effect: the target enemy unit must immediately take a leadership test. If the test is passed, they suffer D3, strength 3 hits, -1 AP. If it is, however, failed, they suffer D6 plus 3, strength 6 hits with the multiple wounds 2 special rule with no armour or regen. All says attempted as normal. Sounds incredible.
When they fail that leadership test, it's brutal.
Yeah, but they just never
they
fail
just
it,
don't
mate.
fail them enough, do they?
They just never fail it, mate. Leadership is like, and even against like the worst leadership stuff in the game, like Beastmen, it's like all got warbands, so it's not the worst leadership stuff. Oh, you're shooting pigs. That's the thing, because war beasts can't use the general's leadership. Pigs is really where. Like, everything else, but again, like I said, Chaos Lord, where if he rolls at 11.
I've got to have line of sight as well.
It's not a large target. You've got to have line of sight. It's a magic missile. They've got to be within 36.
36 is a big range, right?
Like it is, but
I will say, with the Light of Death, you have access to Necromancy, which has the best leadership reduction
in the game.
Yeah, it does, and I can promise you, as a man that has used the Casket a lot of games and has used Necromancy with it a lot, it just I don't know if it's just me. It never.
You
comes
might
off
begin
me.
to get unlucky with it.
It never comes off for me, mate. It's 135 points. That if I can find another 60 points, it's a Necrosphinx.
I think
for 5 points, it's 2 Tomb Scorpions. It's not.
I think it's alright.
It's not there for me anymore.
But I think the difference before is that
it could bounce. It was a leadership test, and it could bounce. You fundamentally could hit 6, 7, 8 models. You could do a lot of damage with it. Whereas now it's a single model, and if they fail that test, if they pass that test, it's D3 strength 3. If they fail that test, you could still only do 4 hits and no wounds. Like it's just.
I was going to say, I think there's a lot more competition for places now.
Yeah, it's just too random
for
me.
I think that is a huge problem for it. It's
coming
up against your Necrosphinxes.
It's coming up against
which
Necrosphinxes.
The first 400 points of your army, basically. Which because I think you're always going to take 2 of those because they're so powerful.
It's the second 400 points. He's taking 3 Tomb Scorpions.
Well, you see what I'm saying?
The problem is that it crucially is battling against the Necrosphinx.
That's what.
Your rare slot. You've got
it's got competition now, whereas before
too much.
It didn't have the same level of competition because in most games you could get 2 Screaming Skulls, a Horror Titan, and one of these, and you have points spent. Because that was all you wanted from the rare slot.
And it was the thing with it was as well is that it gave you like the wizard, it gave you the extra dice and things like that.
It's still good. The +1 to cast is still very powerful, I'd argue.
Yeah, it is. I just think 135 points.
The second spell I like a lot.
Yeah, the Light of Protection is a casting value of 8+, enchantment range self, remains in play so it can be dispelled by the opponent. Whilst this bound spell is in play, this model and any friendly unit within 18 gets a 6+ ward save. In addition, they are also -1 to hit. Enemy units suffer a -1 modifier to any rolls made to hit with this model and this friendly model within 18 inches. However, if you cast Light of Death, the Light of Protection instantly ends. And obviously Light of Protection is cast in the command phase.
Yeah.
So, that's okay. I mean, a 6+ ward save bubble and a -1 to hit bubble. It's solid, but as we said earlier, you don't see all that much shooting. It does work in combat as well.
It does work in combat.
I just think for 135 points, there's just stuff you're taking instead.
I think I'd take it if I had points. If I had 135 points in addition to the 390 I've spent on my Sphinxes, and at 2,000 points I don't. But
it's
if at
390. Oh yeah, 390.
But at 2.5, I think I'd take 1 and 2 Sphinxes.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I
think
don't-
there's
I
just much
don't-
better choice.
I don't know particularly hate it, but I do. There are better options for it.
I
Much
just think
better
at 2k you've got to max your meal.
Yeah.
Everything you put in has got to be able to justify
Once-
itself all the time, and that will only do it every other game.
Once we start going up to like 2.5,
Yeah.
then I think you will start seeing them.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think you'll start seeing them at 2.5.
Yeah, and I think that's again. I think they're again though they're not as good as they used to be because of the changes to Magic. Back in the day, you could hold dice and you could draw the Light of Death. This time, I've got something within 24. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many dice you've used this turn. I can still throw 2
It
dice.
does
at
get
the
plus
spell.
3 though, which is not dreadful.
Yeah, that's true. But again, if you're a level 4, you've only got 11. You've only got equal its roll.
Plus 3
Yeah,
does
no.
give you a big buff to that though. Because only level 4's only getting plus 4.
Yeah, well, you like John said, he's got.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you've got
yeah,
level
okay.
4 in range, I've only got to equal your dice roll.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's
Um,
for me. It's now. It's like it's much easier to stop than it ever was. Well, it's easier to stop because like you can always roll dice to stop it. That's the thing. Bound level of 3, it's still it's within the ranges of fated dispels as well. I mean, fated dispels are garbage, but you know.
Should we
But
get
yeah, let's get on to the magic items.
Yes.
get close? Yeah.
Let's do some magic weapons, and I'll kick us off then, shall we?
Yeah, go for it, mate. As you
We-
played this recently.
I have played this recently.
Yeah, please.
The Destroyer of Eternities, the big bad weapon that it's always has been. Yeah,
A little more bad nowadays.
I'd say it's better. It's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, he's cheaper.
Destroyer of Eternities is 75 points. It is plus 2 strength in combat, AP minus 2, killing blow, magical tags, requires 2 hands, and it strikes last. Rather than attacking normally, the Ward of the Destroyer of Eternities may choose to make a special siphon attack. If they do, the enemy unit they are directing their attacks against suffers D6 automatic hits, each resolved using the Destroyer of Eternities profile.
Very good. But if you use that on you basically there's no when you were saying about taking that on a Khemrian War Sphinx.
Or Dragon.
Yeah, I think it's too many points on it.
It's 20 points. As I said, I saw it very lucky. He got 6 hits, 6 wounds against the Keeper of Secrets because he got no saves against it. He cut it in half.
I mean that
Herald,
that is very
75
lucky.
points on the Herald.
You can put a Herald!
You can.
Oh, you put a Herald, that's just. I'm just going to do D6 attacks.
Look, they're baked in minus 2 AP is really strong, but why have I not took the Ogre Blade for 10 points less? These
And it's also
Basically-
multiple wounds,
basically
and it's not
better.
strike last,
It's got
and
killing
it's not
blow.
requires 2 hands.
Killing blow's
but
good.
multiple wounds D3 over killing blow probably,
Multiple wounds do 3 words against everybody,
and 10 points less,
and I get a shield, and I get to use my shield,
and I don't strike
and
last.
it's 10 points less. And I
I'm
don't
not
strike
saying
last.
it's not better. The Ogre Blade is better.
I just think it's not great, sadly.
I
I think
better.
I think the problem is the Ogre Blade, not the Destroyer of Eternities.
I don't know. I think the problem is magic weapons in general.
Yeah.
If they don't have good AP, they are considered immediately not very strong, and unless they've got some sort of special rule like Monster Slut. And unfortunately, there's like 4 magic weapons or 6 magic weapons you're seeing in the game at the moment, and I don't see why that would change.
Baby.
I don't see why it would change.
Bonk.
But this one, sadly, I think it's alright, but I think it's just a few too many points.
The D6 attacks are good, but they're just random. If you're on
Yeah,
that
you're on
one,
one.
Automatic hits is strong, but like you say, rolling that one is always going to be the killer there. So Crook and Flower.
Crook and Flail of Radiance, 50 points. Range combat, as it should be. Strength is user, -1. Extra attacks, D3, magical attacks, requires 2 hands, strikes first, and can only be taken by Monarchs of Nehekhara.
Not bad. Strength 5
Strength 5.
-1 plus D3 attacks. So you're looking at and going that king could be on
7 attacks.
Could be on 7 attacks. Strikes first.
8 attacks if you get them in a unit with an Necrotect.
I think it's a prince's weapon, this one for me.
Probably is a Prince weapon. Strength 4.
But -1 with yeah, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? I just think it's too many points.
It's
Yeah,
too
I
many
don't think
points.
it really has a place, sadly.
Because again, I don't get any baked in armor penetration. -1 isn't enough.
No. Flail of Skulls, 35 points. This was a big weapon that everyone was using back when
Because it
okay.
combos very well with the
Armor of Ages.
with the Armor of Ages. That's
So,
why.
Flail of Skulls, it is range, strength plus 3, see strength 8.
On the first round of combat.
First round of combat only. You're -1 AP, which is probably the biggest downside of this thing.
Yes.
Magical attacks, multiple wounds 2, requires 2 hands.
Well, most flowers are -2, so the -1 is a shame, and that
I
is.
think flowers are -1
No, I
on
think they're
one.
-1 on my
No, I think they're -2.
No, I don't think so.
Either way,
Either way, yeah.
either way, -1 is a bit disappointing, but multiple wounds 2 is nice, and I haven't paid too many points for it.
No, it's
And in the
35
first
points, it
round,
is very
at
cheap.
strength 8, I'm pretty scary.
But your strength 5, -1, multiple wounds 2 every other round. You don't lose any of
Yeah,
that
which
rules.
is not rubbish.
No.
The multiple wounds 2 is why you took this, and at 35 points with -1 and multiple wounds 2, it's worth having. It's worth
you saw a lot. You saw a lot of this combine the armor rages on a dragon.
Yes.
You don't see as much these days, but I think that's because, as you said, armor rages isn't as useful as it used to be.
Yeah.
So people are taking the bigger magic weapons.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the overblade.
Yeah.
But I think this could work on the Sphinx with the armor of ages and a shield.
Yeah.
It couldn't work because you shield two-handed, so you couldn't. Never mind.
So you can't use the armor rages at that point.
No, so forget that.
Yeah. Serpent Staff is 20 points. It is Strength +2, -2, magical attacks, poison attacks, requires 2 hands for Lich Priests only.
For 20 points, I think it's well good.
I
I couldn't disagree.
No, I saved the 20
Why is your
points.
Lich in combat?
But he's on the back of a dragon. He's at strength 5 at that point, -2. He's
maybe then on the dragon.
he's basically the same. He's basically got turning around and going, well, that dragon does no 5 attacks. He's got 7 attacks.
Yeah,
and they're all at strength, and they're
Just give him the Destroy of
-2.
Eternities.
I actually think, to be fair, again we've said this a lot.
All the first goals.
I think there's a better option for the king, for the leash on dragon, and that's from the.
Saying that though, on a serious level,
I think he's much better.
On a serious level, the Destroyer of Eternities on the wizard on dragon.
Yeah.
He's dirty.
The D6 automatic is only strength 5.
D6 will make his a strength 5.
-2 with killing blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but then your wizard is on the back with no save.
He's got 5 up.
He's got a 5 up regen and a 4 up armor from the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can he take a magic weapon?
Yeah. He's got to take magic armor.
You can take that magic staff, can't you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's out there. That's right out there, guys.
My dragon's going to go in. Oh, the dragon's a scary bit. Destroy of Eternities.
That's the top banner, mate.
Oh, my word.
Can do that.
Just see the guy on foot is like, that Dean Priest get insta-killed by the Witness Priest.
He could. If they're D6 automatic hits, does that mean I can direct them onto characters? I don't think it does it? Doesn't say
D6
if they do the enemy unit they are directing their attacks against, so you
direct your attacks against that character.
He just gets rid of them.
I think that's actually a well good choice.
Even though it's a siphon attack, which should go against the entire front rank.
I think that's well good.
I'm having a great time now.
There's a character there who's touching the base of this 100 mil wide model. Yeah, all of my Destroyer of Eternity attacks count on him.
I would.
Definitely.
It's a very small argument. There's also directing their attacks. Does that D6 automatic per attack?
I'm not.
I'm not going to say no to it, but there is
no.
Rather than attacking normally, the wielder may choose to make a special.
They're directing
side
their
attack.
attacks.
The special, but they don't attack normally. They make a
So
special side attack.
I think that's a top bit of banner. I reckon that catch people out a bit like when I took the Monster Slaying Sword.
I actually think that's well good a choice. The problem is it doesn't catch anybody though because everyone runs open lists.
Well, yeah, but it's not about catching people. It's about
I think it actually
actually
is about catching people because people go in there and they're like, well, I'll just kill. Like the wizards are much less threat. No, not anymore, baby. You're messing with the wrong house. He goes to the wizard pulls out his Destroyer of Eternity.
This wizard's destroying your soul.
Yeah.
2/3 of the time, you're getting more attacks than.
Pulls out a sword as tall as himself.
Yeah.
Honestly, Destroyer of Eternity is a Lich Priest on a dragon. Why not?
Why not? Right, magic armors. I'm going to do these. Get them out of the way. Armor of Ages. The armor of Ages is a suit of light armor. In addition, enemy models must reroll successful to wound rolls made against bearer. It's 50 points. We discussed this earlier. It was everywhere on the dragon. Not so much now, but
it's still good.
Could
on the Necrosphere.
put itself out on a Necro War Sphinx mount. So that could be the new angle for this bad boy, and I think that could bring some competitiveness back to the War Sphinx as a mount. So overall, very good item still, but not in the iteration it once was. Shield of Petra is 25 points. It's a shield. Any models directing their attacks against the bearer in a combat phase are -1 to their weapon skill. I think it's okay, but nothing more than okay.
25 points. It's not awful.
If I had a Tomb Prince, maybe, in a unit of Tomb Guard, knowing that I've got fear and like 40 blokes, I've got a good chance of making you take a fear check. With the shenanigans for leadership, I can effectively get a -2 on that character, but I don't know if it's really worth investing in, if I'm honest.
No. You can take it on unit champs. Not bad in the challenge. -1 to your weapon skill. Especially if you've got My Will Be Done on your +1 weapon skill.
Yeah, and you've got your kind of
Tomb Guard champion. It's solid. I think it's solid.
Yeah.
Talismans, Crown of Kings.
The Crowning Kings.
So this is a extremely common. So you can have this as many times as you like. 30 points.
Loads of them. Not
Monarch of Nehekhara only. During the command subphase of their turn, if they are not engaged in combat, they may attempt to resurrect fallen. So they basically gain
a rise.
They basically gain a rise, but it's for skeletal warriors, skeletal archers, skeletal horsemen, and horse archers that are within his command range. They get D3 plus 1 wounds.
Why is he not Tomb Guard? Why did the Crown of Kings not affect the King's Royal Guard?
Yep.
Well, I mean, the reality is it affects stuff you're not going to take. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're not going to take it.
If he affected Tomb Guard, you would see this.
Yeah, you would.
And you probably see a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Collar of Shepesh. I've just thought of something that I've never thought of this before.
Or the Collar of Shepesh.
When the wearer of the Collar of Shepesh loses their last wound roll of D6 on a 4+, the wound is not lost. Instead, target a single friendly model within the wearer's command range that casualty is removed from play. I'll put on a unit champion. He's taking his 1 wound, 4+. Yeah, he doesn't take the wound, mate. It's going to go on that bloke to the left of it.
I've just thought of a good use for it as well.
Nothing that says you can't do that.
You ready?
Yeah.
Collar of Shepesh, Destroyer of Eternities, Wizard on the Dragon. That's a 10th wound, baby.
I mean, it technically is a 10th wound, yeah.
50% of the time, it's a 10th wound. It's a 9th wound.
If it's on the wizard, yeah.
50% of the time, it's a 9th wound every time. I actually think, though, that's a good choice with the Destroyer of Eternities if you're going down that Destroyer of Eternities.
No, I think it is, but I actually think what is a good choice is on a unit champion. Because they take 1 wound. If they take 1 wound in the challenge, on a 4+, they just kill some other bloke and they're still alive in the challenge. They've taken no wounds.
It's whenever they lose their last wound as well. So they do it every time.
No, it's single use.
Single use.
Yeah, if it was every time, it's sick.
But
yeah, I think Collar of Shepesh is potentially very good on a unit champion.
25 points is cheap, but it's not cheap.
Yeah, it's. I just think the unit champions getting stuff put on them is.
Well, let me throw this one out for you, right?
Let me Terry, Tim.
I use the Scholar of Shepesh. In the next turn, my champion dies. Resurrect the fallen, the champion comes back to life.
Doesn't he come out with a fresh collar?
With a Collar of Shepesh.
Where's your fresh
He's
collar?
going to do it again.
It's single use, so he's used it.
No,
Okay, but he comes back to life.
He's come back. With fresh collar.
I tell you where it is.
In return to battle.
I tell you where there is some bans for this. Is my herald that rides behind the king on his horse, takes his last wound and then goes, no.
That
skeleton dies instead.
7 extra wounds that Tomb King on Dragon.
Yeah. You make that one your BSB, it's a 12-inch command range. His command range, that's like over there, mate.
I need to check this.
Let's call it.
I must say, if the Storm Protector works when you're on a Lich Priest is a Destroy Eternity.
Yes. No, I know it wouldn't work for him, but yeah.
It's got uses. I've used it. I like the Collar of Shepesh. I've used it.
Oh dear. Anyway, Magic Standards. Shall we go into this then? So, Standard of Cursing Word. 80 points.
Big boy.
Oh, Katep. How the mighty have fallen. This was the scroll of the Cursing Word.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh well. Battle Standard Bearer only.
Must have cut it up and turned it into scrolls 100 years later. BSB only.
At the end of any phase in which one or more models in a unit joined by the bearer of the Standard of the Cursing Word lost its last wound to an enemy attack, the unit that makes the attack must take a leash test. If the test is failed, the enemy suffers D3 strength 2 hits, AP minus dash for each model that lost its last
wound. So I'm paying 80 points for a rule that I get on my monarchs and my wizards that I already think is rubbish.
Yeah.
But you
I suppose the idea is if you... I think the idea is that if
warriors.
It's at the end of the phase in which one or more model of units joined by the bearers that lose their last wound. I think the idea is that if someone comes in and they do 20 wounds and then they crumble 20 wounds, they take 40.
No, they don't.
Well,
one or more models in a unit.
For each model that lost its last wound.
But they actually damage a bit.
So if you come in do 20 wounds, I crumbled not a 15, and you've done 35 wounds, you take 35 D3 strength 2 hits.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
right. Am I reading this right?
That's right,
yeah.
But it's all based on...
Excuse me, mate. 35 D3. I've got 7 attacks, I've got 70 wounds to do.
Yeah, strength 2 though, isn't it?
The only issue is
70.
I mean, you are absolutely pumping yourself if you do the 35 wounds to yourself. You've got to take a leadership test, mate.
No! Again, that's actually if the unit
it's based on
leadership test, so
but I said you do.
Now I can see why it's sitting there for 200 years and then cut it up because no one uses it.
You do have the Lore of Nehekhara, the reduced leadership. It could
80 points on a gamble, mate.
Boys, I played this last weekend. It did nothing.
Yeah. Did you actually play that?
Yeah. Sometimes I was like, it did nothing.
It relies on too much combinations to work.
So
let's move on.
The next one is good. Icon of Sacred Eye. This one looks good on your Tomb Guard.
50 points.
Plus 1 weapon skill.
Yeah, and the unit carrying the Icon of Sacred Eye has plus 1 modified weapon skill.
Tomb Guard can take a 50-point magic stand.
Yeah.
They got weapon skill 4.
Yeah, with the king in there, you can get them to weapon skill 5.
Which is elite infantry levels.
Really strong. And if you're taking that star, you're probably going to whack that on them.
Yeah, I think that's strong. It also affects characters to join the unit.
Yeah. Or if you're not taking the Icon of the Sacred Eye, I think you're taking the Icon of Rakaf.
Yeah, the Icon of Rakaf. 40 points. Unless making a charge move, a unit carrying the Icon of Rakaf may perform a single free reform at any point during its movement.
Movement 4.
Yeah, but you can just move up. It's a total free reform, mate. So you can just move up, and then you could just spin yourself 90 degrees if you wanted.
Yeah.
Nothing that says you can't. So you could have some guy on the far left moving like 12 inches if you're like 10 wide.
Yeah, I'm just. When I give ground, is that a move? That isn't a charge.
You'll think in what regards?
During its movement.
So when I give ground, is that a move? Unless making a charge move, a unit carrying it may perform that during its movement. I make a 2-inch move and I give ground. Can I then turn round and reform into a line?
Technically, because it's the same wording as lumbering when you're overrunning and stuff like that. It's the exact same wording. It's any point during its movement. You can do that. You can lumber after you overrun.
So actually,
you can do the
potentially quite dirty.
Yeah, you can do
I think it's got potential to be good.
And with the idea that you can virtual pivot as well.
Yeah.
So you can.
It's also not.
Stronger than I thought initially.
It's also not one use. If someone ambushes a big block up behind you, let's say Minotaurs, because they can ambush, you can move forward 4 inches and just do a complete 180 for nothing.
Yeah.
So you're then
get charged in the front instead of the back.
Well, yeah, that's better.
It's better.
But also you've been able to move away from them. You've got to force them to make that charge, bigger charge. That's the thing. I think it's well good.
I think it's a sort of a submariner.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, the better it looks.
Yeah. And then you got the Mirage Banner, which is 20 points. Any model that targets a unit carrying a Mirage Banner during a shooting phase suffers an additional -1 to hit modifier.
For 20 points, that's well good. There's a lot of stuff that can take, basically everything in the book can take a magic banner that's at least 25 points.
If you're taking that massive unit of 90 archers.
Yeah. But it's just standard shooting though. It's my only issue. There's not a lot of standard shooting.
It's 20 points though, it's decent.
If you're taking a BSB, mate, you can't take Banner of the Cursing Word.
We're not taking it.
On those 90
we're not taking it. Get it out of here. I mean, that's potentially mutually assured destruction. Their entire army charges your 90 models. They kill all 90 of them. Well, I'm doing 90 D3.
The icon of Rakaf on those is really strong.
And the archers.
Yeah, they move back 2 and then turn themselves into like a 60 long line.
Or just get a lot of massive pivot, don't they? So yeah, that's
next. The Cloak of Dunes, 50 points, too expensive. Models whose troop type infantry only, the wearer gets flying 9. In addition, any enemy unit the wearer moves over during the remaining move sub-phase suffers D6 strength 2 hits with an AP of -1. So they get hit by some falling sand, and apparently that's more deadly than the curse of an ancient doomed monarch.
I would say it's year 4. I don't know if it's too expensive.
I don't think it is.
Fly 9 is good.
Yeah. I think it is.
Strong on a wizard.
On the grounds that Spectral Steed is a thing.
Yeah, but you don't have to cast this. You just fly around. And
I just think 50 points is too expensive. How are you going to get that in the Destroyer of Eternities? You're not.
Well, the Destroyer of
Eternities doesn't matter.
This is on infantry only.
Yeah,
it's true. We're going to move on. The Icon of Rulership next. So again, very common. So you can have multiples of these. Models whose troop type is Chariot only. 35 points. The model doubles its unit strength from 3 to 6, and in addition, any impact hits caused by this model have an AP of 2 and magical attack.
If this affects the unit, it'd be worth the point.
So good.
If it affects the unit, it would be immense.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It doesn't.
It basically turns you into a heavy chariot. That's the way to think about it. It's 35 points to be a heavy chariot on your character.
With a high unit strength.
But you don't get the bonuses of having stuff like the extra save and things like that for being a heavy chariot. You just get better unit strength and a magical -2.
Yeah.
At least your impact is now ignore demons also.
Yeah, and all D3 of them. That's strength 4. Doesn't improve any of that stuff. I just don't think it's worth it.
And then finally, the Death Mask of Connaught.
Mighty have fallen.
The wearer of the Death Mask gains terror. 20 points.
I mean, 20 points on minus 1.
It's alright. It's alright actually, because again, it's that bubble up. You bang it on somebody. You bang it on a unit champ, and my unit now causes terror. and you're
Yeah,
now minus
he's all
1
nice.
leadership. It's about that building the leadership bubbles. That's where it sits.
Yeah, I just
Stick
There's
this
a lot
on.
of stuff that
Stick
20
this
the
points.
on.
Tomb Guard champion does have a golden death mask on.
Or
As
stick
There's a
this
lot of
on.
stuff that can take it. That's the thing.
Stick this on your Skeleton Archers unit champ, on your Skeleton Warriors unit champ, with the Bar of the Cursing Word,
Stop.
combined with all the necromancy.
Stop.
Like minus 40 save, mate.
90 D3. 90 D3.
so the unit does have to be alive for that to work, though, right?
Yeah, but your unit champ's always the last to die. No one attacks unit champs.
What? The
Bar of the Cursing Word.
Banner of the Cursing
I don't think it
Word?
does.
No, at the end of the phase in which one or more models in a unit joined
In
by
a
the
unit.
bearer,
If the unit's not there, he's no longer in a
so
unit.
they kill 89. One man left. Now you're in for a world of pain.
Passes
89.
his leadership test.
89
Ah.
D3.
Because he's a veteran.
The problem
Because
is,
everyone can
right,
be a veteran.
how do you even split that?
This be able to play shoot.
John, it's never going to happen. So
Trash.
you don't need to work it
Trash.
out.
Get onto the Arcane Arms, please,
So-
I beg you.
Death Mask, I miss the fact that I liked the fact that it used to stop you having leadership bubbles. I think it's a shame that's gone down, but I do think you're right. It could be really strong on a unit champion in particular. Also, particularly on something like Necropolis Knights, where they've got the swift stride charges and they're making you take terror tests. That's really powerful. So I like that.
I just like it with a minus 1 leadership.
Yeah, I think that's strong. Enkil's Canopy, 30 points, single use, during the command subphase of their turn. If they're not engaged in combat, the bearer may attempt to unleash the contents by taking a leadership test. If the test is passed, all remains in play spells are dispelled, including the ones cast by friendly wizards. Absolute garbage.
If it was less points, I think it'd be well takeable, because remains in play, like stuff like vortexes are particularly difficult to dispel because the wizard is always like 90 inches away from you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
but
30 points is too
The
much.
single use element of
That's
it,
the problem.
and you've got to
Excellent.
pass the check.
And it's not common either.
No, I don't like it.
If it was during the command sub phase, if you're not engaged in combat, the bearer can unleash the canopy, and it's basically just, rather than being single use, you have the option.
Canopy? The
Canopy.
Enkil's canopy?
Yeah, not the tent awning.
Burst out of the
yeah.
jar.
No,
It
well,
takes up all the magic in the
Do
area.
you know what? I'm going to
if
say
it
this.
wasn't single use, I think it could be good if it just allowed you to dispel remains in play as if you were in range of the wizard. That'd be really strong.
Yeah.
I'd like that, but instead it's single use and it just turns them all off for that one turn. Next turn I'll just cast them again, mate. Like, it's just 30 points too much.
Do you know what? I missed the Scorpion in the Jar that I wrote for one of the event packs. I can't remember what I
yeah.
called that. That's a shame I didn't get that in here.
Was that HKB Scorpion as well?
It
I think it was.
had something like that. Yeah,
it was
really
HKB
silly.
Scorpion.
It was really funny.
Hieratic Jar, James.
Hieratic Jar.
1+.
These are very common. They're lots more than 1+ for me. They're as many as you can fit. 25 points, single use during the command sub phase. If they're not engaged in combat, the bearer of the jar can release the power. The bearer may attempt to resurrect the fallen via a rise twice that phase.
I've just seen.
So strong.
I thought if you could just smash all the jars on,
No,
do like
it's
4
just-
rises.
But it's the stuff like, you've got 2 level 4s, you can do
Yeah.
a rise 4 times in a turn. You can,
Yeah.
if you've got, it's again not bad on the dragon wizard, because you go, on my turn, I'm out of combat, I'll rise a wound back on myself. I'll use Hieratic Jar, I'll rise a second wound back on myself.
Yep.
Like, you can use it on the wizard.
And straight
you
back in
can
with the
use
Destroyer of Eternities because it's only 25 points.
You can use it on characters. There's all sorts of stuff you can use it on. It's really strong, the Hieratic Jar. They're in every list, and they're in every list because they're great.
Yep, and then Scarab Brooch, the last one, 20 points. When using from beneath the sands, a summoned unit can be placed anywhere on the battlefield, completely within 18 of the Lich, wearing the Scarab Brooch, rather than 12. So you just up the range of that,
Yeah, really
which
good.
is strong.
Because the thing is, you put that on like a level 1.
Yeah,
And you're just like, there you go, 18-inch bubble. It's
Yeah,
really
no,
nice.
It's good.
And then finally, onto the Lore of Nehekhara. Now, I'm going to pick this up if you guys don't mind. Just
Go for
to
it.
finish us off.
I'm going to do it.
But no. So the 3 spells, right? I don't actually think, like, they're all good.
I
I just
think
think
they're all amazing.
the problem is that you're only ever going to see Jafs, because Jafs is just immense.
Because you can only take one of these.
That's the thing. If you could take multiples, I think you'd see more. And I remember in
Which
our
is
very first game we played, we misread that, and
Yeah.
so I took 2, and like 2
Well,
from
I think-
Necromancy, 2 from Nehekhara.
I think it's a big issue with a lot of the army specific laws, like especially with like Beastmen. The other spells they're decent,
They're good.
but it's just
They're
not.
just not. They're just
it's
not volatile.
It's
with
not
the
volatile.
active
It's
shares.
not cursed blades.
But this
It's
is
not the other
this
stuff.
is where I think having 2 level 4s and 2 level like 1s is strong.
Yeah.
Because like ultimately,
Jafs benefits the most on being on your level 4 or being on a big dragon, whereas the other 2, and again, Kassar's is good on a dragon. and like a level 4. Whereas the Usex is great on.
Well, that's going to be
great
level
on
4
just a
to
level
10 plus
1.
to cast.
Again, 10 plus.
You're never going to get it.
Problem.
So the problem you've got is you need really to put your Cassars on your little wizards and have one with Usex and one with a little wizard with Jaffs, a little wizard with
That's the
Cassars,
problem. So on level
and
1
then
it's
a
7
big daddy on
range.
Jaffs and a big daddy on Usex.
Really, you want them all on level 4s, but let's get into it. So
Yeah.
Jaff's Blades, enchantment, 7 plus range self. Until your next start turn sub-phase, any friendly unit that has their current undead special rule and that is within the cast's command range may reroll any to hit rolls of a natural 1.
Very good.
Now, obviously on a dragon, that's an 18-inch command range.
Yeah.
We did a video on the channel where I used Mortuary Cult, and that Jaff's is it's everything.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's everything, and because it's range self, he can always cast it on himself, even if he's in combat.
Yeah.
So you can always get that bubble of the 18 inches.
Yep.
And it's just great. It
Yep.
really benefits everything around it.
It's all good.
Now, Usex, not Ukrainian boxer Usyk. I can imagine he would dessicate people. And I'm not talking about the coconut.
Drain them all their fluids.
In the ring, I reckon he's got it in him. So, type Hex, casting value of 10 plus. Other heavyweight boxes are available, but they're not as good. Casting value of 10 plus, range 15 inches, effect. Until the end of this turn, the target unit suffers -1 strength and toughness. If the spell is cast, the effects of any other hex previously cast on the target unit expire. That is a big shame because you do that one first, but the idea, obviously, if you've got other spells cast from necromancy, it pops.
You just do this one first.
Yeah, you just do that one first.
That is brutal. There's nothing that reduces toughness really.
There's not much, certainly not strength and toughness. It's a bubble.
It's vital.
It's really good. You
I
just
can't
don't
think of
see a
any
lot of
other
people
spells that
take it
reduce
because of
toughness.
This
Jax.
is one of the only ones.
Yeah, it's brutal. So strong. It's just
Word
10
of
plus.
Pain might
The
go
only-
from Dark Magic.
Maybe. The only downside though is that it can't be cast on a unit in combat.
Yeah. So you got to
That's
cast
his,
it and then
that's
hit
his
'em.
biggest downside.
Very strong with the shooting in the heavy distance though.
Yes, it is.
You'll
Also,
get that -1 toughness on that dragon, and then shooting with the strength 6 bows from your Shakti,
baby.
and then freeze to win.
Another big issue.
Yeah,
about-
baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Another big issue is it's only until the end of your turn. It's not until the start.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
but you just use it as the magic.
It's all
bubble.
about the shooting.
You
Isn't
hit that big monster. It goes down to toughness 5. I'm 4 to hit with my bows. I'm freeze to wound. You're probably only gonna have a 6-up save against me. You take 2 wounds a pop.
Yeah,
Really
strong.
Yeah, baby.
And then finally,
That's what I'm talking about.
Cassar's Incantation of the Desert Wind. So it's an enchantment, range, a casting value of 6 plus or 10 plus, range self again, so the range self is nice. If this spell is cast with the casting value of 6 or more, a single friendly unit that has Necron Undead special rule and is within the caster's command range gains the reserve move special rule. If this spell is cast with a casting value of 10 plus or more, then every friendly unit that has the Necron Undead special rule within the caster's range gains a reserve move. This spell lasts till the end of the turn. So,
Reserve move
brutal.
is decent. It basically means all units are marching, in essence, after the shot as well.
After they've shot. Yep. This was good.
So it's good. It's good.
it's worth having for the 10 plus, and obviously on a level 4, the 10 plus you just like this. That's a light
I
value.
mean, you cast some stuff that flies. Ooh. They're marching and going again.
No,
you can't march, yeah, you can't march, yeah.
So you're not bothered about
Okay,
five,
no, it's fair.
It's good if you've got a magic missile on your wizard though, because he flies up magic missiles and then
and then he gets his
makes the
extra
reserve move after
Yeah.
that because it's a shooting
Yeah,
phase.
baby.
That's what
I'm talking about. Well, we are done with the Tomb Kings.
we are done. That is the book to an end.
That is the Bony Boys, and that is Revenue Hall's done
That
as a
is
whole.
the last. They are the back of the book, and it's quite poignant that they were the last one we did because they are the last one in the book.
Cheers,
Yeah, but why is the cheers unnecessary? It wasn't necessary. Right, I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of you. I'm just going to sign off right now. Leave.
See you later.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Tomb Kings are very
Tomb
strong.
Kings are very strong.
Yeah, they're good.
They follow. They've got.
I think they're really good in this edition. They've got lots of good choices. There's not many things in the book. I mean, I said not many. There's not many things in the book that you look at and go, they are completely useless. They're rubbish. They've got really strong characters. They've got good, and crucially, they have good support around those characters we spoke about earlier with dragons and stuff. It's not like you're going, well, the Tomb King on dragon is the only thing in my arm and it's going to do any lifting.
No, it's the 3 Tomb
It's
Heralds and 3 Lich Freeze running the island on the skeleton.
Yeah.
No, you've
It's,
got
it's,
all
your,
those
it's
flying
your wizards, it's
sphinxes,
your flying
your wizards,
sphinxes, it's your
your
scorpions, you know,
It's
it's
Destroy
your,
Eternity wielding Lich Priests.
it's the magic. there's just lots of really good
Everyone
stuff
thinks you
around
use it like that, but what we've learned is that he uses it like that.
Yeah. It's just lots of really good stuff around it, but for me, I think it's a strong army. I'm not surprised because it's a poster boy army. It was always going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I'm a
And
big fan
they're
of them.
still dominating sort of the upper tables as well.
Yeah, I'm not
as they go
surprised.
around.
'Cause
They will do.
the thing is, they fit right into the meta.
Lots of
With
terror as well.
the toughness 6 stuff. They
All
fit,
the monsters are in the world.
Yeah, they're really anti.
they fit
amount of
right into
monsters
the
stuff.
meta, and they've got the anti-meta as well. So
Strong.
You could say so.
well,
Sense that, John.
yeah, and from there, that is all for us today, and that is the last of the Ravening Hordes deep dive. Obviously, if you're watching this in order, if you're not watching this in order, then it could be your first, but who knows? Either way, we have done all of the Ravening Hordes deep dives, and that is it for us today. Thank you for joining us. If you did enjoy this, then please like, subscribe, share, speak to everyone about it, let everyone know that this is a deep dive for you, and maybe for them. And
Comment below. Cheers, John.
yeah, you can say cheers, John, if you want. I mean, it's entirely up to you. But
Thanking John is
yes,
optional.
if you enjoyed that, then please obviously head over to the Knights of the Mastering Ground where you can see all our other deep dives, you can see all our other videos, all of our content, and yeah,
Hundreds of videos.
Hundreds of videos. Max once said
Lots.
thousands.
I don't want to say
But,
thousands.
I'm pretty sure he did, didn't he?
I said like 300-400 videos, maybe.
Yeah, there's over 300.
That was mentioned to a lot before, but with that, thank you very much for watching today, and we will see you next time.
Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today.
What are you doing, mate?
You alright?
Do